Kampa's eyes widened, staring fixedly at the food in front of him, but he made no move. Beerus thought Kampa was stunned by the delicious food before him, but he only guessed half right. Kampa was indeed stunned, but not because the delicious food in front of him exceeded his expectations. It was because the things before his eyes were something he had seen before. Vados. Isn't this the same as the food you once served me? Kampa turned to ask. Several decades ago, Kampa had once eaten an extremely delicious food from Vados, and the taste of that food remained fresh in his memory even now. However, it didn't take long for him and Vados to finish all those delicacies. But to this day, he still remembers the origin of those delicious foods. Vados, isn't this Earth's food? Yes, Vados chuckled, her eyes narrowing slightly with a hint of guilt. But didn't you say that Earth was already destroyed? How does Beerus have this? Earth was destroyed. Goku, who was nearby, scratched his head in confusion. Kampa-sama, Earth is perfectly fine. I'm talking about Universe 7's Earth. Huh? Do you have Earth in your universe too? Whis explained from the side, Universe 6 and Universe 7 are twin universes, and they share many similarities, whether it's planets or lifeforms. So Universe 6 has Earth, it isn't surprising. But our Earth has been destroyed, Kampa-sama. Did you forget? Vados said. Kampa's ears immediately drooped, his face showing discontent. Indeed, Universe 6's Earth had been destroyed due to war, and Vados had told him that her stock from the Earth was gone. However, Kampa didn't know that Vados had deceived him because these items actually came from Universe 7's Earth, courtesy of Lin Chen, who had borrowed the Super Dragon Balls from Universe 6. A short while later. Humph. I'll give it to you, you've won. I never expected that Earth in your universe hadn't been destroyed. Kampa said as he picked his teeth with a toothpick. Before him was a messy table. Beerus, how about we negotiate? You give me your universe's Earth, and I'll give you something in exchange, Kampa suddenly said to Beerus, a polite look on his face, a stark contrast to his earlier attitude. However, as soon as he spoke, Beerus shouted without the slightest hesitation, no. Absolutely not. You must be dreaming. Rejected by Beerus, Kampa's face stiffened, but he immediately forced on a smile. Beerus, don't refuse so quickly. How about this, you give me Earth, and I'll give you something good. With that, Kampa extended his hand, and 6 Super Dragon Balls, each the size of a planet, suddenly appeared in the sky above the God of Destruction's planet. Wow! Those are Dragon Balls. Goku and Vegeta immediately recognized the objects above their heads. Even Broly was somewhat amazed. Such huge Dragon Balls. Huh? You also know these are Dragon Balls? Kampa was surprised. Of course. We have lots of them, but they're not as big as your Dragon Balls. Kampa couldn't help but sneer. I know what you're talking about. You're referring to the Namekian Dragon Balls, right? Those are just small fragments compared to my Dragon Ball. Beerus, let me tell you the truth. These are the legendary Super Dragon Balls, created by the Dragon God Zalama himself. As long as you can gather 7 of them, you can fulfill any wish. Any wish at all. There are no limitations. Super Dragon Balls. Beerus stroked his chin, finally showing a look of genuine interest on his face. This is getting interesting. Seeing that Beerus appeared interested, Kampa was delighted. However, at this moment, Whis exposed the truth. Beerus-sama, speaking of the Super Dragon Balls, there are 7 in total. But I remember that these 7 are not all in Universe 6, a few of them are in our Universe 7. What? Kampa, you dare steal things from Universe 7 without my permission? And you want to use my things to make a deal with me? Beerus' expression turned ominous, like a volcano about to erupt. So what if I did? Universe 6 also has a share of the Super Dragon Balls. If you want to use the Dragon Balls, you'll still need to obtain universe success. Kampa yelled in frustration. I don't care, I will never make a deal with you using my own things. Damn it. Kampa's face turned extremely bad. Facing Beerus, who was about to burst into anger, he knew he was in the wrong and lost confidence. Kampa's eyes rolled around and he came up with an idea. Beerus, how about this? Universe 6 and Universe 7 hold a martial arts tournament. If I win, you give me your universe's Earth. If you win, he'll give you all the Super Dragon Balls. How does that sound? A martial arts tournament? God of Destruction Beerus' eyes flickered as he seemed to be contemplating something. Yes, since the Super Dragon Balls are useless until you collect all 7, why not decide their ownership through a martial arts tournament? Of course, we can't determine the outcome ourselves, so we'll have our universe's warriors compete. Beerus stared at Kampa for a while, then turned to look at Goku, Vegeta, and Broly in the distance, suddenly bursting into laughter. A martial arts tournament? What a joke! Just like the food battle, the outcome of this tournament was already predetermined, right? After all, no matter how strong Universe SXS fighters were, could they compare to Universe 7's Lin Chen? He was an opponent even Beerus himself couldn't defeat. Alright, I agree. Subsequently, they discussed the rules of the tournament, settled on the venue and time, and then Kampa left with Vados, wearing a confident look. However, Kampa probably didn't know that, as soon as he left, Beerus immediately began to roll on the ground holding his belly, laughing. Ha ha ha. That fool Kampa, I've already won this tournament. A little later, on Planet Vegeta. Lin Chen was touring Stargate No. 1, led by Dr. Brief and constructed with the combined efforts of most of the Alliance's forces. In addition to Planet Vegeta's Stargate No. 1, Stargate No. 2 had also been completed, which was located on Earth. As long as the startup tests went smoothly, the two Stargates could be connected. The distance between humanity and the universe has once again become much closer. Accompanying him on the tour were his family. Lin Luo and Taro were bickering about the wonderful life of being able to train on Planet Vegeta and returning to Earth to sleep in the future. At that moment, Goku's figure suddenly appeared before Lin Chen and the others. Hey! Brother Lin Chen! Goku raised his hand and greeted Lin Chen. I have some great news to share with you. Goku? Upon seeing Goku appear, a thought immediately crossed Lin Chen's mind. It seemed like the time had come for it to happen. Are you here to invite me to participate in the tournament? Huh? Goku was surprised. Brother Lin Chen, how did you know? Did Mr. Whisk contact you already? No, I just guessed randomly. Seeing you so happy, it's probably about fighting with others. Huh, you got it right. Then, Goku informed Lin Chen about the sudden arrival of Kampa and Vados, along with the agreement between Kampa and Beerus, and the upcoming tournament in 7 days, the 5 vs 5 showdown between Universe 6 and Universe 7. Everything was as Lin Chen had known all along. The only difference was the competing participants. Is that so? Beerus-sama wants me to participate. Of course, brother Lin Chen, you're the strongest in our universe. Beerus-sama wants you as the final trump card. Goku pointed his finger, besides you, Beerus-sama chose me, Vegeta, Broly, and he also wanted to include Linro, but Mr. Whis said fused warriors might not be eligible, so he thought of Frieza. Ding! Challenge detected from Universe 6, triggering the strongest choices. Choice 1, enter the battle personally, achieve a perfect victory, and preserve all 5 members. Reward, power level of all Saiyans of Universe 7 increases by 100,000. Choice 2, win the fight against Universe 6. Reward, 100 vials of Super Saiyan Serum. Choice 3, designate someone other than Lin Chen to participate, win, and preserve all 5 members. Reward, the content of S cells in all Saiyans of Universe 7 increases by 90%. Ha! Lin Chen was mentally prepared for new missions, but he didn't expect the rewards for this mission to be so interesting. It seemed like it could significantly enhance the overall strength of Universe 7 Saiyans. In that case, Lin Chen naturally selected the choice with the best reward. System, I choose 3. Ding! Host's choice confirmed, please complete the mission as soon as possible. Choice 1 increases power level, choice 2 creates 100 Super Saiyans, but choice 3 increases the S-cells content of all Saiyans by 90%. What does that mean? It's almost like making Universe 7 Saiyans similar to those of Universe 6. Compared to Universe 7, the Saiyans of Universe 6 are overall stronger, with much more S-cells in their bodies. With a little training, they can easily transform into Super Saiyans. If Lin Chen completes this mission, the number of Super Saiyans on Planet Vegeta in the future may increase by many times over. However, finding someone to fight 1 against 5, and Lin Chen himself can't fight, who would be suitable? Because he had read the original work, Lin Chen naturally knows who Universe 6 will send to fight. So he is also very clear that among the opponents, the most powerful is Hit. Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza are all capable of defeating the opponent, but there is also the possibility of them losing. So, they cannot be sent. In that case, the only choice is Broly. After thinking about it, Lin Chen said, okay, Goku, tell Beerus-sama that I will participate in this tournament. But I have a condition. What condition? Beerus-sama said, as long as you participate, he can agree to any condition, Goku said. The order of participants will be decided by me. Oh, is that so? No problem, Beerus-sama will definitely agree. Finally, Lin Chen and Goku went to the God of Destruction's planet together, with Goku bringing back a message for Beerus. Meanwhile, Lin Chen had something to discuss with Broly. After getting Beerus' permission, Lin Chen took Broly from the God of Destruction's planet, and the two returned to the planet where Broly had originally trained. Unlike before, thanks to Lin Chen's power of creation, the once desolate planet had regained its vitality. Broly, I brought you here to prepare for the tournament 7 days later. I hope that by then, you can handle all of Universe SX's opponents on your own. Me alone? Broly was somewhat surprised. You have the strength for it, Lin Chen said. However, as far as I know, there's a formidable expert in Universe 6 who might be your toughest opponent. So, in these 7 days, I will give you special training. Since Lin Chen had decided to have Broly face 1 against 5, he wouldn't let any surprises happen. Therefore, he had to make sure Broly was aware of Hit's abilities in advance. Broly nodded with a wry smile. Facing 5 opponents on his own, the pressure Lin Chen put on him was indeed a bit too much. The 7 days flew by, and soon it was the agreed day for the tournament. On this day, all the Dragon Ball warriors and their families had gathered early at Lin Chen's house in West City, preparing to attend this rare event. After all, this was a showdown between experts from 2 universes, an event many might not witness in their lifetime. In the crowd, there was also Frieza, but today he looked especially peculiar. He was dressed in a waiter's small suit, carrying a whole set of camping utensils in his hands. Frieza's eyes were closed, veins faintly visible on his forehead. However, he dared not make any rash moves because today's attire was Lin Chen's idea. Frieza, this suit suits you well. While waiting for Whis and others, Lin Chen came over and greeted Frieza. Yes, indeed, Lin Chen-sama, you really have a good eye, Frieza replied with a forced smile. Seeing the once universal emperor being so obedient, Lin Chen smiled and rubbed his chin. Then, it was at this moment that Whis and Beerus descended. They brought a cubic spacecraft capable of traversing universes and took everyone to the tournament venue. Just like the original work, the tournament took place at the boundary between Universe 6 and Universe 7, in a common space. In this space, apart from a desolate planet, there was nothing else. The arena for the tournament was on this barren planet, with Vados having already prepared the arena. Of course, according to the original work, Lin Chen also knew that this desolate planet was the last Super Dragon Ball that Kampa had been searching for. As everyone landed on the planet, they immediately heard Kampa's voice. "Oh! Beerus, you finally came. Take a look at this arena, today your people will all lose here." Upon seeing Kampa and Vados flying over, Beerus immediately snorted. "Of course, it has to be you, you idiot. What's with your tastes, is this even a proper arena for the tournament? It's too simple and ugly. And look at the audience seats over there, they are all hard as rock. Are those some kind of primitive age audience seats? Whis. Change this place." "Yes, Beerus-sama." Whis nodded and flew up, then with a wave of his scepter, the arrangement of the venue immediately changed. Soft audience seats, a comfortable participant rest area, and even the tournament arena had designs on it, and there were also two huge portraits of Beerus and Kampa. The entire arena's style suddenly became much more high-end. Whether it was good or bad quality, even Kampa could see it. He immediately blushed and turned to Vados. "Vados. Why didn't you do the same just now?" "Oh, Kampa-sama, I did the arrangement exactly as you instructed." "Ha ha ha. Kampa, your taste is so bad. Yours isn't any better." Seemingly angry, Kampa and Beerus once again started bickering. Everyone was used to their bickering, so they didn't pay any more attention to them and turned their gaze elsewhere. The 6 shining golden giant crystal balls above their heads naturally attracted their attention. "Wow, are those the Super Dragon Balls? They're so huge." Seeing the Super Dragon Balls for the first time, most of them were awed by their enormity, unable to help but gasp. However, there were those in the crowd who had already seen the Super Dragon Balls before. "Yes, those are indeed the Super Dragon Balls, scattered separately in the 2 universes," explained Tights. Lazuli beside her asked with curiosity, "Tights, have you seen the Super Dragon Balls before?" "Yeah, Hanasia and I once went with Lin Chen to collect the Super Dragon Balls. We've been to Universe 6 as well." "Wow, that's amazing." Goku and the others immediately expressed envy. "Alright, Kampa-sama, it's time to call over Supreme Kai and the others." At this point, seeing Kampa and Beerus arguing again, Vados quickly changed the subject. Kampa shrugged, "Fine, Vados, go tell those Supreme Kai about it." Vados nodded, her slender divine scepter twirling in her palm as several signals were transmitted through the void. Before long, the Supreme Kais from both universes arrived using instant transmission. On the Universe 7 side, it was naturally Old Kai, along with East Supreme Kai Shin and Kibito. From Universe 6 came a green-skinned Supreme Kai named Fua. He was a chubby guy, with a lazy expression, always looking like he hadn't slept. There was also a slender figure beside him, the attendant of Supreme Kai Fua. "Kampa-sama, Beerus-sama, sorry to keep you waiting," Old Kai slightly bowed. "Alright, everyone is here. Let's go." Nodding faintly, Beerus led the Universe 7 participants straight to the arena. At the moment they stepped onto the arena, the Universe 6 group also arrived behind Kampa. "Kampa, are these your people?" "Yes, Beerus, get ready for a humiliating defeat." Kampa and Beerus confronted each other again. Meanwhile, the participants from both universes had the chance to size each other up. However, when Lin Chen saw the 5 individuals across from him, a what-the-heck expression appeared on his face. Because the 5 people standing before him were significantly different from the original work. "Huh? This aura, are you Saiyans?" Goku and Vegeta were also surprised after glancing at the 5 individuals in front of them. Among these 5, 3 of them were Saiyans. In this tournament, the Universe 6 participants were notably different from the original work. Apart from Hit, Frost and Kaba, the 2 participants from Universe 6, Batamo and Automagetta, the large yellow bear-like being and the metal man from the original work, had been replaced by others. Replacing them were surprisingly 2 female Saiyans. Although Lin Chen was seeing these two female Saiyans for the first time, he immediately recognized them. They were none other than Caulifla and Kale, the female Saiyans who would make their appearance in the Tournament of Power. Universe 7 was one thing, but how could Universe 6 also undergo such changes? While Lin Chen was still pondering this, Goku and the others had already gone up to greet them. Unexpectedly, Lin Chen's two sons also joined in, directly approaching the two female Saiyans. Hey! Hello, are you Saiyans too? I'm Taro, and he's Lin Luo. We are brothers. What should we call you, beautiful ladies? Get lost. Don't think I don't know what you're scheming. Caulifla rudely exposed their attempt to hit on them, making them quite embarrassed. Fortunately, compared to the indifferent Caulifla and the shy Kale, the other Saiyan Kaba was more polite. Hello, we are indeed Saiyans from Universe 6. I'm Kaba, she's Caulifla, and this is Kale. The three of us are from planet Sadala. Sadala? Isn't that the Saiyans' original homeworld? So, it wasn't destroyed in your universe? Vegeta exclaimed in surprise. As the several Saiyans began to discuss enthusiastically, Frieza looked with interest at the frost in front of him. Oh ho ho, so it's not just Saiyans, but there are frost demons too in Universe 6. Yes, hello there, Frost said politely. But a sneer appeared on Frieza's lips. He had seen through the other's true colors at first glance. Meanwhile, Hit directly approached Lin Chen. However, before he got close, Broly appeared in front of Lin Chen. It should be said that it was instinct. The terrifying killing intent emanating from Hit made Broly instinctively become vigilant. It's okay, Broly, I know him. Pushing Broly aside, Lin Chen smiled at Hit, long time no see, Hit. Yeah, so you were from Universe 7. No wonder I couldn't find you for many years after that. Lin Chen had left a very deep impression on Hit. After all, Lin Chen was the first target that Hit had accepted an assassination order for but failed to kill. Ha, sorry about that, Lin Chen chuckled. Today is a tournament where no killing is allowed. But after the tournament, I might come to Universe 7 to kill you. Please be mentally prepared, Hit said in an unusually calm tone. Lin Chen just smiled. Things are different now. Back then, he was chased across the universe by Hit. But now, dealing with Hit is a piece of cake for him. The times have indeed changed. Okay. Let's get started quickly. After half an hour had passed, Kampa couldn't contain his impatience any longer. Holding a hammer, he began to strike the enormous iron bell next to the tournament arena. Clank, clank, clank. Beerus, let's start the tournament already. I want to show you how powerful Universe 6 is. Following that, an alien announcer from Universe 6 stepped onto the arena. Ladies and gentlemen, Universe 6 vs Universe 7 martial arts tournament is about to begin. Next, let me announce the rules of the tournament. In this tournament, each universe will send out 5 participants, engaging in one-on-one battles with a continuous elimination format. Surrendering or falling off the arena counts as elimination. Accidentally killing the opponent also counts as elimination. When all participants from one universe are eliminated, the tournament will be over. Now, let the tournament begin. Each universe, please send out your first participant. On the Universe SXS side, the first participant was already decided. Frost from Universe 6 was the first one to step onto the arena. On the Universe 7 side, Beerus looked at Lin Chen and asked, Lin Chen, who do you want to send out? Lin Chen glanced at the 4 participants behind him. Frieza and Vegeta were awaiting instructions. Goku had already stood up with an expectant look on his face, pointing at himself. But Lin Chen ultimately chose Broly. Broly, go. Yes. Broly, who had been silent, stood up and fearlessly walked towards the arena. Hey, brother Lin Chen, why did you let Broly go? I can go too, Goku said. Lin Chen shook his head. Sorry, Goku. I want Broly to face all 5 of them alone. Ah. Goku looked disappointed. Having trained with Broly on the God of Destruction's planet for a year, he knew Broly's strength very well. Don't be fooled by the fact that he and Vegeta have now reached the Super Saiyan Blue level. Broly may not have made any significant breakthroughs, but he was aware that Broly was a natural-born monster. Other than Lin Chen, he has never seen a warrior with such extraordinary talent. Ha ha ha. Upon hearing Lin Chen's decision, Beerus couldn't help but laugh. Lin Chen, so that's your plan. Indeed, Broly can handle it. Go, Broly. Beat them all. What? Kampa perked up his ears. Beerus, are you dreaming? Oh, Kampa-sama, Beerus-sama might not be joking. This Saiyan is quite special, Vados said, blinking as she observed Broly carefully. This left Kampa stunned. Vados, you're my angel. Why are you siding with Beerus? Kampa-sama, I'm not joking. This Saiyan from Universe 7 is not an ordinary one. Her words left Kampa in disbelief. Vados, you're definitely lying to me. I don't believe it. He's just a Saiyan, right? Frost, take him out. Boom. As a resounding gong echoed, the battle on the arena officially began. Frost, standing in the arena, remained in his primal first form. Seeing this, Broly spoke directly, Mister, please unleash your full strength. You should have at least 3 transformations, right? Oh. You saw through it? Well, you also have Frost demons in your universe. Frost's tail swayed. Although he said that, he didn't pay much attention to it. After all, the Broly in front of him looked really weak, and did not look like a powerful person at all. Meanwhile, Frost was a prominent figure in Universe 6, with few worthy opponents over the centuries. Seeing the opponent underestimate him, Broly had no choice. A golden light flashed on him, and he transformed into Super Saiyan. This is Super Saiyan. Upon seeing Broly transform into a Super Saiyan, Kaba and the others from Universe 6 were surprised. They hadn't expected a Saiyan from Universe 7 to also transform into a Super Saiyan. Kaba immediately stood up and shouted, Mr. Frost, be careful. The opponent is a Super Saiyan. Frost naturally knew the power of a Super Saiyan. After seeing Broly transform, he knew the situation was dire. Just as he was about to transform himself, Broly in front of him suddenly disappeared. Where is he? Frost looked around but couldn't find a trace of Broly. Just then, Kampa suddenly roared. Fool, where are you looking? He's behind you. Ha! Frost turned around only to see Broly indeed appearing behind him. Oh! Frost was about to counterattack, but Broly had already grabbed his tail. Broly spun around 360 degrees, pulling Frost's tail, and suddenly threw him out of the arena. The tremendous force left Frost completely unable to stop. Ah! This fool, falling out of the arena means losing. Kampa anxiously shouted, holding his head. Losing like this would be too foolish. At this moment, Frost in mid-air realized he couldn't stop. He gritted his teeth and said, I can't lose like this. Boom! A blue light flashed, and Frost in mid-air suddenly transformed into his final form. Using the power of his final form, he successfully neutralized Broly's power and came to a halt. But before Frost could heave a sigh of relief, Broly's robust voice already reached him. His eyes flashed with indifference, and the attack followed swiftly. Bang! Frost's pupils suddenly shrank. A force even greater than before pressed on his chest. Frost's vision began to blur, and the surroundings rapidly flashed past him. Boom! Like a meteor hitting the ground, Frost crashed outside the arena, creating a deep crater on the ground reinforced by Vados' angel power. Universe 6 Frost, eliminated. Bahaha. Kampa, it seems Universe SXS people are nothing special. It's only been a short time, and the first match is already over. Seeing the result, Beerus immediately mocked, laughing loudly. Kampa looked displeased but couldn't retort. He could only endure until Frost, who had been healed and woken up by Vato's power, returned to the spectator stand with a dejected look on his face. Then, he immediately vented his frustration on him. You fool! Why didn't you use your final form earlier? Fool! Idiot! Imbecile! Frost, who was getting scolded, knew he was in the wrong and dared not argue. That fool! Frieza muttered quietly. As a fellow Frost demon, he felt a bit embarrassed of Frost. Kampa scolded incessantly, much like a parent lecturing a child, almost forgetting that the tournament had not yet ended. In the end, Vados couldn't help but remind him, Kampa-sama, the participant for the second round hasn't been decided yet. According to the rules of the tournament, this tournament was a rotation battle, continuing until one side was defeated, and the winner would remain in the arena as the defender. The losing side had to keep sending out new challengers. Upon hearing Vados' words, Kampa finally stopped the scolding, his gaze scanning the remaining individuals. Among the remaining participants, Hit was naturally considered Kampa's trump card. So, next. Kaba. Get up there. Yes, Kampa-sama. Kaba immediately stood up and flew towards the arena. Standing in the arena, Kaba politely bowed first. Hello. I am Kaba from Planet Vegeta. His action surprised Goku and the others. Oh, are Universe 6 Saiyans so polite? In the arena, Broly was surprised too. He returned to normal state, and returned the greeting. Hello. After exchanging pleasantries, the two did not immediately start fighting because Kaba asked another question. I never thought you were a Super Saiyan. Since that's the case, do you happen to know a Saiyan named Lynx? Lynx? Broly looked towards Lin Chen with a meaningful look in his eyes. Hearing their conversation, Goku and the others also looked at Lin Chen strangely. Brother Lin Chen, they know you. Yes, I've been to Planet Vegeta before. Lin Chen nodded relaxedly. At the same time, he also had some guesses as to why there were two Saiyans more than the original work among Universe SXS participants this time. It was probably because of his influence that some changes occurred among Planet Vegeta's Saiyans. At this moment, following Broly's gaze, Kaba also saw Lin Chen. Is he Lynx? Yes, Lin Chen is his name on Earth, Broly explained. Upon hearing this, Kaba immediately flew up, approaching the edge of the arena. Ignoring the fact that he was currently facing away from Broly, he bowed to Lin Chen. So, you are the legendary Mr. Lynx. Thank you very much for your help to Planet Vegeta. Seeing this strange scene, even Beerus was puzzled. Kampa, what's going on here? Kampa was also baffled, then looked at Caulifla beside him. Unexpectedly, Caulifla, who was usually indifferent to everyone, stood up from her place in surprise, looking at Lin Chen with admiration. Vados, what's going on with them? Oh my, Kampa-sama, you should pay more attention to your universe. Don't you remember the explosion in the average level of Planet Vegeta's Saiyans over a decade ago? Vados asked with a smile. I remember, of course. Kampa remembered, it was those Saiyans who discovered the method to transform into Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God, right? Kampa-sama, the one who discovered the transformation method was my big brother Renso. He told me that he heard it from a Saiyan named Lynx from another universe. Caulifla explained. Lynx? Kampa found the name somewhat familiar and after some thought, realized that it was Lin Chen from Universe 7. So that's it. Lin Chen has been to our universe? At this point, Beerus and the others also learned the truth from Kaba. Beerus was somewhat angry, saying, Lin Chen, you idiot. You're from Universe 7, what's the meaning of helping other universes strengthen themselves? Lin Chen glanced at him, coldly saying, "They are Saiyans." The veins on Beerus' forehead bulged as he clenched his teeth, but ultimately, he sat back down in his place. There was nothing he could do, after all, he couldn't defeat Lin Chen. "Mr. Lynx, Mr. Renso was my former superior. He once said that if he ever met you again, he hoped to express his gratitude. Your guidance back then benefited the Saiyans on planet Sadala immensely." Kaba bowed to Lin Chen once again. "However, grateful or not, this tournament is Kamehameha's direct order, and we can only do our best." Lin Chen smiled slightly and shouted, "Then you must give it your all, don't hold back." "Yes." Kaba turned around, refocusing his gaze on the arena. "Mr. Lin Chen, thanks to your generosity, the Saiyans of planet Sadala have gained new strength." After saying this, a red light suddenly lit up on Kaba's body. In the next moment, his hair turned red, and his pupils slightly enlarged. "Ah! It's Super Saiyan God!" Lin Luo exclaimed. Kaba nodded, "That's right. This is the new transformation we mastered after Mr. Lin Chen's guidance." Lin Chen frowned. Sure enough, because of his influence, planet Sadala's Saiyans were much stronger than in the original work. In the original work, at this point, Kaba hadn't even mastered the Super Saiyan transformation. But now, not only has he achieved Super Saiyan, but he has also mastered the Super Saiyan God transformation. Thinking about this, Lin Chen couldn't help but feel fortunate that he chose Broly for the mission this time. If it were Goku and Vegeta, things might have gone awry. Super Saiyan God. Then he'll have to give it my all too. Broly stared at Kaba, muttered to himself, and then began his transformation. He first transformed into a Super Saiyan, then continued to enhance his aura, causing his body to swell once again. This form of Broly was, of course, his full power of legendary Super Saiyan form. Ah! This time, it was the Saiyans of Universe 6 who were astonished. Caulifla looked at the transformed Broly and patted Kale's shoulder in surprise. "Kale. He's actually a legendary Super Saiyan like you. Sister. Isn't Kaba in danger then?" Kale said with a serious expression. "Kaba. Be careful." Caulifla immediately stood up, cheering for Kaba. "Legendary Super Saiyan. Vados, what's that?" On the side, Kampa was once again puzzled. Super Saiyan was Super Saiyan, so what the heck was this legendary Super Saiyan? What was wrong with these Saiyans? Why did they have more forms than Frost Demon? Legendary Super Saiyan is a powerful warrior from legends that appears only once every 1,000 years among the Saiyans. Our universe Kale is also a legendary Super Saiyan. "I just didn't expect Mr. Broly would be one too," explained Vados. "Oh. Is a legendary Super Saiyan powerful?" Vados looked at Kaba on the field and slowly said, "Our Mr. Kaba is in trouble." "Wow, Kaba can also transform into a Super Saiyan God." Goku, looking surprised, remarked as he saw Kaba turn into red-haired form. The normal state strength of Universe 6 Saiyans is quite formidable, so even as a red-haired Super Saiyan God, his power is not to be underestimated. "I'm afraid, apart from us, there might not be a Super Saiyan God on planet Vegeta who can match him." Vegeta, arms crossed, calmly analyzed the situation. "Too bad he's up against Broly." Lin Chen smiled faintly, showing no concern for Broly. While they were talking, the momentarily interrupted match had resumed. "Mr. Broly, here I come. Bring it on." "Ha!" After a loud shout from Kaba, he moved swiftly and launched an attack against Broly. Seeing Kaba approaching, Broly remained expressionless and just extended his palm. Just as Kaba wondered what Broly was up to, Broly shouted. An invisible, powerful aura suddenly erupted out, and like a shockwave, it directly hit Kaba. Ah! Hit by this aura, Kaba found himself powerless as he was flying towards the edge of the arena. Finally, when he reached the edge of the arena, Kaba managed to regain control of his body and landed on the ground in a sorry state. That was close. After landing, Kaba wiped his forehead with a glad expression. That was too close, he was on the verge of being knocked out. This Saiyan named Broly turned out to be incredibly formidable. Indeed, he deserves to be called the legendary Super Saiyan. While Kaba was relieved, Kampa's face distorted with anger. Kaba! What are you doing? Use all your power. That's right. Kaba! Don't let Universe 7 Saiyan underestimate us. Caulifla shouted from the side. Hearing their words, Kaba smiled bitterly. All his power. He had already used it. But the strength of this Broly was unfathomable. He's too strong, and I'm no match for him. However, at least before I'm defeated, he'll try to consume some of his strength. After making this decision, Kaba's face showed a resolute expression. Among the 3 Saiyans from Universe 6, he was the weakest. Kaba knew he couldn't win this battle and decided to place all his hopes on Caulifla and the others. But the other was only the first participant, yet he possessed such overwhelming strength. Could it be that, in the end, he would end up fighting all 5 of them alone? Shaking his head, Kaba dispelled this ominous premonition. The next moment, Kaba clenched his fists, took a step forward, and charged towards Broly again. However, at this moment, a voice suddenly echoed in the arena. Broly, remember my words, don't waste your energy. Yes, Brother Lynx. Broly nodded. Then, as if using teleportation, he disappeared from the arena. With a speed so fast that Kaba couldn't even catch his movements, Broly appeared behind Kaba. Before Kaba could react, Broly's chop directly hit Kaba's neck. With just one strike, Kaba froze in midair, and then he instantly reverted back from Super Saiyan God form and fell unconscious in the arena. The winner of the second round is Broly from Universe 7. After the referee confirmed Kaba's condition and announced the result, the place fell into silence. Broly acted so fast that most people didn't even understand what had happened. Those who knew were astonished by the explosive speed and power Broly had just displayed. It wasn't until a moment later that discussions began to rise. Universe 7's side was naturally surprised by Broly's strength, Goku and Vegeta even furrowing their brows. Brother Lin Chen, do you think Broly can defeat them all alone? Your Majesty, this isn't fair. We didn't come here just to watch. Although Goku and Vegeta were a bit discontented, Lin Chen directly ignored them. As for Frieza, not having to participate in the fight made him quite happy. Ha ha ha. Kampa, can your guys handle this at all? How much time has passed since the tournament started, and 2 of your people have already got eliminated? It seems like the tournament will end soon. Upon hearing Beerus' mockery, Kampa became furious. Initially, seeing Broly defeat 2 of their fighters already made him unhappy. Now, hearing Beerus' words, Kampa's anger intensified. To the point that Kampa couldn't restrain himself and stood up, looking at Hit. Hit, you're next. Originally, according to Kampa's plan, he wanted Hit to be the final trump card. But given the current situation, he had no choice but to let Hit take the stage. Otherwise, if they were to really lose 1 against 5, how would he show his face? However, just as Hit stood up with his hands on his hips, Caulifla jumped out. Kampa-sama. Let me handle the next round. Without waiting for Kampa's approval, Caulifla, along with Kale, jumped onto the arena. While Kale helped carry Kaba away, Caulifla faced Broly, preparing for the battle. Caulifla. Come back. I said Hit should take this one. Kampa shouted anxiously from the stands. But Caulifla not only ignored him but also transformed directly into Super Saiyan God and said to the referee nearby, hurry up and announce the start of the round. Huh. The referee looked somewhat puzzled and glanced at Kampa. Never mind, Kampa-sama. Let Hit take the end. The people from Universe 7 are all experts. Besides, Caulifla is not weak either. Upon hearing Veda's suggestion, Kampa thought for a moment and nodded, saying, "All right, that's the only option. You guys can go up, but make sure to consume his power as much as possible. Hit, you'll be in charge of the final round." Kampa placed his last hope on Hit. Hit gazed solemnly at the arena and nodded. Then, Kampa took a hammer and struck the drum again to signal the continuation of the round. He cheered on Caulifla to boost her morale. Winning or losing was one thing, but in terms of momentum, they couldn't afford to lose to Universe 7. Surprisingly, at this moment, Lin Luo from Universe 7 stands also stood up and shouted towards Caulifla, "Miss Caulifla, come on." This left Lin Chen dumbfounded. Did this brat develop a crush? "Big brother, why are you cheering for the enemy?" Taro wondered. Huh. Well, they're also Saiyans, Lin Luo replied with a sheepish smile. Upon hearing the conversation between the two children, Lin Chen smiled faintly. Never did he imagine that time would pass by so quickly. His two sons have also reached the age of love. In terms of talent, Caulifla could be considered the most talented female Saiyan in the Dragon Ball world. If she became his daughter-in-law, it wouldn't be bad. On the arena, seeing Caulifla transform into Super Saiyan God, Broly's expression remained unchanged. "You are Caulifla, right? Unfortunately, this level of power can't defeat me." In terms of power level, Caulifla was only slightly stronger than Kaba. Therefore, even if she transformed into the Super Saiyan God, her fate wouldn't be much better than Kaba. However, Caulifla was brimming with confidence. "Don't take me for Kaba. Kaba couldn't defeat you, but I can." With one hand on her waist and the other pointing at Broly, Caulifla's tone was unusually confident. Broly just glanced at her indifferently, not taking her words to heart. But then, Caulifla showed everyone the source of her confidence. Whoosh! The aura in the arena suddenly became chaotic, and in the next moment, a blue light appeared. Caulifla's red hair had unexpectedly transformed into blue hair. Even Lin Chen couldn't help but feel impressed. "I never expected Universe 6 to have Super Saiyan Blue as well." Back then, Lin Chen had only informed the Saiyans of Universe 6 about the method to create the Super Saiyan God. Unexpectedly, after decades, someone among them had discovered Super Saiyan Blue. But thinking about it, it made sense. After all, in the original work, Caulifla was already an exceptionally gifted female Saiyan. Soon after mastering Super Saiyan transformation, she quickly comprehended the Super Saiyan 2 transformation. Now that even Kaba could transform into Super Saiyan God, it was normal for Caulifla to grasp the Super Saiyan Blue transformation. The moment she was done transforming into Super Saiyan Blue, Caulifla immediately took action. With a step, like an arrow leaving the bowstring, Caulifla charged straight at Broly. Seeing Caulifla's movement, a golden aura erupted from Broly's body. He moved, meeting Caulifla head-on. Bang! 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 Under the gaze of everyone, Super Saiyan Blue Caulifla engaged in a close combat with Broly. Their fists, elbows, and arms continuously collided. "Brother Lin Chen, this female Saiyan is really powerful. She's been able to hold her own against Broly for so long," Goku exclaimed, his mouth wide open, scratching his head, with a look that seemed eager to join the fight. Lin Chen also didn't expect Caulifla to be this formidable. In the original work, Caulifla in her Super Saiyan 2 form could already contend with Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue state. Now that Caulifla has also become Super Saiyan Blue, her strength might be on par with Goku's. Moreover, the more critical question is, if Caulifla is this powerful, what level has Kale's strength reached? At this moment, Lin Chen surprisingly started to worry a bit for Broly. After all, Broly is facing a 1v5 situation, and now, with only the third opponent, it's already proving to be so challenging. Can he endure this? However, reality was quite apparent. Lin Chen was overthinking it. Now, Broly, who was a candidate for God of Destruction, couldn't be compared to a mere Super Saiyan Blue. In terms of strength, Caulifla was still slightly inferior to Goku and Vegeta. As for Goku and Vegeta, unless they fuse together, even if they team up, they still can't defeat Broly. Indeed, just over 10 minutes into their intense battle, the situation took a sudden turn. Caulifla was sent flying. What's going on? Wasn't Caulifla doing well? Kampa exclaimed, somewhat puzzled. Just a moment ago, they were evenly matched. How did Caulifla suddenly find herself at a disadvantage? Kampa-sama, it's not that Caulifla isn't trying, it's just that Broly's strength has increased again. After sensing the situation, Kampa exclaimed, it's true. This is the power of Broly, Lin Chen whispered. Although both are legendary Super Saiyans, Broly's legendary Super Saiyan is different from Lin Chen's. The most significant difference lies in the fact that, despite being a legendary Super Saiyan, Broly has not developed a new transformation so far. His strongest transformation is still the full-power legendary Super Saiyan, and hasn't developed legendary Super Saiyan 2 like Lin Chen. However, what makes Broly's legendary Super Saiyan formidable is that, even though it's the full power form, the power level increase is not fixed, unlike other Saiyan transformations. It's a fluctuating value. It's this characteristic that makes Broly's full-power legendary Super Saiyan form have almost no limit. Just like at the beginning of the fight, Broly's transformation amplification was already comparable to the power level amplification of Super Saiyan Blue. After a round of battle, his amplification surprisingly increased compared to the first round. Caulifla's strength is indeed very formidable, and her Super Saiyan Blue form is indeed powerful, but unfortunately, she has not comprehended the divine realm yet. Her Super Saiyan Blue transformation merely boosted her power, but in a contest of strength, not even Lin Chen can surpass Broly. Therefore, Caulifla's fate is not surprising. After Broly raised his power level beyond the level of Super Saiyan Blue, Caulifla finally couldn't hold on and was quickly suppressed by Broly. With the idea of conserving energy, Broly did not hold back at all. A few heavy punches left Caulifla dizzy, and after she became listless, he unleashed a powerful blow, sending her directly out of the arena, crashing heavily against the protective barrier at the edge of the arena. With a crack sound, the impact caused cracks to appear in the barrier. The power of that previous strike was evident from this. Out of the arena, Universe 7 wins. In the instant Caulifla landed, the referee in the arena immediately announced. Ah! 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 Kampa clutched his head, furious, but before he could erupt, something unexpected happened. In the Universe 6 spectator stands, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted out. Big Sis! This aura appeared quite suddenly, sweeping out in all directions from the stands, silencing any words Kampa was about to utter. In the arena, Broly, who was preparing for the next match, sensed this aura and his expression darkened. He turned his head towards the spectator stands. On the Universe 7 participant stand, Goku and the others were about to celebrate Broly's victory in another match, but their smiles instantly froze. The aura emanating from Kale was immensely powerful. Neither Kamehameha nor Caulifla from before could be compared to it at all. Moreover, many people found this aura quite familiar. When they cast their gaze towards the source of the aura, everything became clear. The one emitting this aura was none other than Kale, one of the 3 Saiyans from Universe 6. As everyone watched, a radiant green aura continued to emanate from Kale. And Kale's body, amidst loud noise, kept expanding. In just a few breaths, Kale's physique grew significantly. From the previously frail and small girl, she instantly transformed into a female Super Saiyan resembling a King Kong Barbie. This is. Upon witnessing Kale's transformation, Goku and others were utterly shocked. Then, Goku, Vegeta, Lin Luo and Taro all uttered the same word. Legendary Super Saiyan. What? They also have a legendary Super Saiyan. Beerus, at this moment, was also shocked, turning to look at Lin Chen beside him. That's right, it's the legendary Super Saiyan, and it's the same as Broly's legendary Super Saiyan. That girl's power has no limits, just like Broly. Upon hearing that, Beerus was greatly alarmed. He had initially thought that Broly could effortlessly take on all 5 opponents. Now, it has become troublesome. Facing a legendary Super Saiyan almost identical to himself, could Broly maintain his undefeated record? Waha! On the other side, Kampa was extremely delighted. He never expected that among the Saiyans he brought, there would also be a legendary Super Saiyan just like the opponents. This was truly unexpected happiness. In fact, for this lineup, apart from Hit and Frost, Kampa initially intended to choose only one Saiyan. It was the other side who volunteered and recommended Caulifla and Kale, causing Kampa to give up on recruiting Batamo and Automagetta, whom he had originally planned to recruit. After transforming into a legendary Super Saiyan, Kale's aura continued to increase for a while. Only when her aura reached its peak did she jump onto the arena. She first helped Caulifla up from the ground. "Sis, are you okay?" "Yeah," Caulifla rubbed her head in pain. "Kale, I'll leave it to you. You must win, and help me defeat Broly." I will help Sis defeat Broly. Just watch from the side." Kale said seriously. Her pupils have actually returned. It seems that Kale can already control her power. Lin Chen, watching from the stands, was somewhat surprised to see that Kale, even after transforming into a legendary Super Saiyan, could maintain rationality and speak to others. In the original work, Kale only regained her rationality during the Tournament of Power, prompted by Caulifla's shout. However, the current Kale, despite transforming into legendary Super Saiyan, had clear pupils and eyes, indicating she had her rationality. However, Lin Chen wasn't overly shocked. After all, Kaba and others had already achieved the Super Saiyan God form, so it was quite normal for Kale to awaken the legendary Super Saiyan power in advance and be able to control it. After watching Caulifla return to the stands, Kale took a step onto the arena and shouted, "Referee! Hurry up and announce the start of the round." The referee, at a loss, turned his head and, seeing Kampa nodding, declared, "The 4th round will begin now." Boom! After the sound of the gong rang out, symbolizing the start of the round, Kale took a step forward, leaving a deep depression. Her figure transformed into a green light ray, rushing towards Broly. It started. Seeing Kale in the arena starting her attack, the hearts of the onlookers clenched. Although it was already the 4th round of the tournament, this round was completely different from the previous ones. Because this time, it was a showdown between 2 legendary Super Saiyans. The legendary Super Saiyan of Universe 6 against the legendary Super Saiyan of Universe 7, who was stronger. Under the gaze of everyone, Kale arrived in front of Broly and waved her muscular arm, smashing down towards Broly. Facing Kale's punch, Broly didn't dodge. Instead, he swung his fist as well, delivering a powerful hook. Boom! A thunderous roar echoed in the arena, followed by a shockwave spreading in all directions. Their fists clashed with a resounding impact. Underneath their feet, a crack appeared in the arena, continuously expanding in all directions. After a few seconds, the massive arena actually shattered. Wow, such terrifying power! Vados was surprised. She didn't expect the arena she personally made would be destroyed under the force of the 2 fighters. This level of power could already rival that of a god of destruction. Vados quickly waved her scepter. A magical green light swept across the arena. The broken arena, as if time was flowing backwards, instantly returned to its original state and became even more sturdy than before. Although the arena had returned to its original state, the impact of the scene just now still left a deep impression on everyone. So powerful. Whether it's Uncle Broly or Kale, they're both so powerful. Taro's eyes sparkled with stars, and he excitedly waved his fists. I really want to go up there and fight too. Uncle Broly, Kale. Go for it. Hearing Taro's words, Lin Chen smiled wryly again. It seems that both of his sons have fallen for the enemy. After a brief standoff, Kale moved again, and the intense collision sounds continued to echo in the arena. With each collision, shockwaves swept out in all directions. The intensity of the battle had completely surpassed everyone's imagination. So powerful. Is this what a battle between legendary Super Saiyans is like? Even Kampa was fascinated by the intensity of the battle. Putting himself in their shoes, he imagined that even if he were in the arena, it would probably be quite challenging for him without using the power of a god of destruction. At the same time, the battle in the arena became even more heated. After realizing that punches and kicks were no longer effective, their fight transitioned from physical blows to a clash of energy blasts. As legendary Super Saiyan, their energy techniques were remarkably similar. Rapid energy spheres continuously exploded above the arena, and the radiant green light illuminated the astonished faces of the onlookers. However, compared to the nervousness everyone else was feeling, Lin Chen, after watching for a while, relaxed. He clasped his hands behind his head and reclined in his chair. Seeing Lin Chen looking so relaxed, Goku immediately asked, "Brother Lin Chen, did you figure out who will win?" "Yes, being so young, Kale's strength is really impressive. It's a pity that Broly is much older than her," Lin Chen said. As a legendary Super Saiyan, they have a powerful trait. That is, the legendary Super Saiyan has a strong power level from birth, and as they age, their strength will naturally increase. It is precisely because of this that Kale will always be at a disadvantage when facing Broly. Because Broly is at least 20 years older than Kale. 20 years of power level growth is difficult for Kale to catch up with unless she diligently trains. This is also assuming that Broly does not train during that time. Unfortunately for her, in this world, after realizing his mistake, Broly did not neglect his training. This factor ultimately determined the outcome of this match. Seeing that long-range attacks were ineffective, Kale became anxious. Defeating Broly was a personal request from Caulifla. If she couldn't do it, how would she face Caulifla? In her urgency, Kale gathered a Saiyan energy sphere on her fist. Changing from how she was previously attacking, she charged directly at Broly, carrying this energy sphere at close range. Seeing that Kale had not given up, Broly also decided to end the fight. Previously, to face the last opponent Hit, who is a formidable opponent, he had reserved too much strength, but this couldn't go on. As legendary Super Saiyans, he was well aware of their power and traits. If he doesn't finish the battle quickly, Kale's strength is likely to continue to increase during the fight. By then, the battle will be difficult to win. He directly took Kale's punch with his chest. He didn't suffer any injury due to his tough body. Then, Broly began his final counterattack. Suddenly lowering his head, he grabbed Kale's bare foot and forcefully pulled, tossing Kale into the sky. Immediately after, Broly's hands released two purplish-black energy spheres. As soon as these two energy spheres appeared, several people on Universe SXS stands stood up. Kampa, Hit, and Universe SXS Supreme Kai Fua were among them. They stared wide-eyed, their gaze fixed on Broly's energy spheres. Power of destruction. Hey! Beerus, why does this guy have power of destruction? Kampa angrily shouted at Beerus. Beerus sneered in response, Kampa, didn't I tell you? Broly is Universe 7's God of Destruction candidate. Of course, he would have power of destruction. Kampa was so angry that he wanted to curse. After all this time, this Broly was a God of Destruction candidate. Being a God of Destruction candidate meant being a future God of Destruction. To be chosen as a God of Destruction candidate, one had to have strength close to that of a God of Destruction. Although Kale stabilized her position in mid-air, when the two energy spheres containing the power of destruction attacked, she only lasted a few seconds before being pushed out of the arena, losing the match. Mom, I'll go over there and take a look. Taro called out before flying towards the edge of the arena. Damn it, Beerus, you tricked me. Having lost 4 consecutive matches, Kampa's mental state had become somewhat unbalanced, and he was struggling to control his emotions. But at this moment, a calm voice interrupted. Kampa-sama, please let me take the field. He was interrupted, but Kampa wasn't much angry. He turned to Hit, who had stood up, and asked, Hit. I can only rely on you in the end. Are you confident? Kampa-sama, to be honest, if the rules don't allow killing, my confidence is not high, Hit replied with a cold tone. Kampa hesitated for a moment and understood what Hit was saying. Hit's techniques were all lethal moves, and if killing is not allowed, it's like tying up Hit's hands and feet. Kampa gritted his teeth and forced a smile, hey, Beerus-sama. Humph. Stop pretending. I know what you're up to when you speak like that. On the other side, Beerus directly mocked. However, just as he was about to refuse, Lin Chen said, Beerus-sama, it's okay. This is the last match, and I think Broly also wants to win this match fair and square. After some thought, Beerus said, fine, Kampa, I'll cut you some slack this time. Let's change the rules. Hit, did you hear that? Yes. Hit, in his purple trench coat, walked to the stand. With almost no movement, his body became blurry, as if time had stopped at that moment. When he appeared again, he was already in the arena, facing Broly. Huh. Hit's actions drew exclamations from the surrounding people. What just happened? Why didn't I see how he got up there? Piccolo, did you see it? No. He was too fast, I didn't see his movements at all, Piccolo replied. Others shook their heads as well. On Universe 7's stand, Goku and the others were also puzzled. Even Beerus was stunned. Because even he couldn't see how Hit moved just now. Could it be instant transmission? Doesn't seem like it. I didn't feel any spatial fluctuations, that was definitely not instant transmission ability. His aura is also strange, you can't feel how strong he is at all. This guy is definitely not simple. Seeing that people from Universe 7 were amazed by Hit's ability, Kampa suddenly became proud again. The grievances from earlier were also swept away. Humph. Hit is the strongest assassin in Universe 6. This time, he'll definitely win. The strongest assassin. I'd love to have a match with him. Upon hearing Kampa's words, Goku once again felt the itch to fight, experiencing inner conflict. He hoped Broly would win but also wished for a chance to fight Hit. It was in this situation that the gong sounded, and the final match began. Hit and Broly stood several meters apart, staring at each other without making any rash moves. However, soon, Hit took his hands out of his pockets. Broly, right? To deal with you, I'll have to use my full strength. Please do. As soon as he finished speaking, an incredulous look flashed across Broly's face. He lowered his head in disbelief and saw a purple fist landing on his abdomen. So fast. What just happened? When did Hit launch the attack? Despite the surrounding exclamations and confusion, Hit did not seem inclined to answer. Instead, another punch landed on another part of Broly's body. After just 2 punches, Broly, who had been unscathed like a demon god in the battle, was surprisingly bleeding and injured. Broly took several steps back, barely standing on the ground. So strong. How did he do that? Goku stood up with his eyes widening. To injure Broly with just 2 punches was unheard of. Who exactly is this Hit? Lin Chen's gaze also became serious. Hit is indeed a formidable opponent. Broly, hang in there. Bang! 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 In the arena, a strange battle was unfolding. The barrier around the arena would occasionally light up due to the impact of the battle, as if a monster was relentlessly attacking it. Accompanying these impacts were the continuous screams from Broly. The beginning of the battle completely defied everyone's expectations. Hit had the upper hand from the start, completely overpowering Broly. Broly, who had remained undefeated in 4 consecutive matches and hadn't even suffered a scratch, was now bleeding profusely. Several grotesque wounds had appeared on his body, and blood was flowing out like rivers. Broly is actually injured. Whis, what's going on? Beerus asked in surprise. As a god of destruction candidate, Beerus had naturally fought Broly before. In his impression, Broly was like an iron plate which could take any hit. But now, with just a few punches from Hit, Broly was already seriously injured. Whis rubbed his chin, also puzzled. However, at this moment, Lin Chen on the side spoke. Hit has 2 major techniques, one of which is called vital point attack. This guy is a professional assassin, emphasizing on killing with a single blow, so he can see the vital spots on his opponent's body and launch an attack. Broly has been targeted at his vital spots by him, hence the serious injuries. Beerus' face turned gloomy, no wonder he asked Kampa for permission to kill earlier. It was all for this. By the way, you mentioned 2 major techniques, what's the other one? The other one is called time skip technique. Lin Chen explained, you may have noticed that we can't catch Hit's attacks with our naked eyes. It's not that he's using some teleportation technique, rather at the moment Hit attacks, he skips through time. Skip through time. Goku, who had appeared at some point, asked, Brother Lin Chen, what does skipping through time mean? Hit's time skip technique is a technique that allows him to skip through time. From what I know, he can skip time for 0.1 second. Although it seems short, in intense battles, it's enough for him to gain the upper hand. Skip through time. Isn't that too unfair? Goku exclaimed in surprise. Whis, however, remarked in surprise, so, Hit has preliminarily grasped the usage of the power of law. Damn it, we've been fooled. I didn't expect Universe 6 to have such a guy. Beerus punched the air heavily, looking angrily towards Universe SX's stand. Seemingly noticing Beerus' gaze, Kampa turned around and gave him a slight smile. Damn it. Meanwhile, in the arena, under a series of attacks, Broly, seemingly unwilling to yield, began to counterattack, trying to catch Hit. Unfortunately, all of Broly's counterattacks were effortlessly dodged by Hit. With a 0.1 second advantage, an expert like Hit could easily dodge all of his opponent's attacks. So, in the time that followed, the people in the stands watched helplessly as Hit skillfully maneuvered around Broly using time skip, launching attacks. Seeing Broly getting beaten up, everyone couldn't help but gasp and sweat for him. Such attacks, if it were someone else, like Goku and the others, they would probably have already collapsed. But Broly continued to persist, truly earning the admiration of onlookers. Yet, even if he is the legendary Super Saiyan, how much longer could Broly endure? On the other side, Hit found Broly's actions perplexing. He certainly wasn't holding back now. Having obtained Kampa's permission, each of Hit's moves targeted Broly's vital spots. Yet, Broly seemed unkillable like a cockroach, rising again and again. Is my punch lacking power? Hit examined his fist and then suddenly unleashed his full strength. Earlier, considering the 4 opponents after Broly, Hit though hadn't been holding back, he had still conserved some power, but now he fully unleashed it. Sensing that Hit's aura had increased compared to before, the onlookers nervously sweated for Broly. The final attack. As Broly attacked once more, Hit made up his mind. In the next attack, he would use all his strength, intending to bring Broly down once and for all. As Broly charged towards Hit, he immediately activated the time skip technique. Everything around him instantly came to a standstill. Hit rushed forward, aiming at Broly's heart. With this blow, he planned to completely destroy Broly's heart. Without a heart, even if Broly could endure a lot of beatings, there is only death ahead. However, at this very moment, something strange happened. As time resumed its flow, Hit was about to land the punch on the targeted spot. Suddenly, a chaotic aura erupted from Broly's body. The aura was so astonishing that Hit almost thought he had hit God of Destruction Kampa. At the same time, the punch thrown by Hit was unexpectedly stopped by the oppressive force of this aura. Rather than saying it was stopped, it was actually the outward force generated by the aura that was equal in strength to Hit's punch. To onlookers, it seemed as if Hit had stopped in his tracks. "I've got you now." Bang! Oh no! Hit's heart sank. A tyrannical energy surged towards him. In the next moment, Hit was sent flying as if hit by a truck. How is this possible? After flying back dozens of meters, Hit landed on the ground, one hand supporting himself, and slid another 10 meters before coming to a stop. At the same time, the others in the stands wore expressions of astonishment. Because, for the first time, it seemed like Broly had landed an attack back on Hit. Although most of them still didn't see exactly what had happened, it didn't hinder them from witnessing Hit being pushed back as if he was struck. Broly was able to land his attack on Hit. Has he found Hit's weakness? Amidst the crowd's speculation, Hit launched another attack. He transformed into a phantom-like figure and unleashed a barrage of attacks on Broly. However, unlike the previous helplessness, this time, all of Hit's attacks missed. Not only did he fail to harm Broly, but he was also continuously struck by Broly's aura. Broly's astonishing aura eruption created an effect akin to a cannon. Even Hit's purple armored cloak started showing signs of damage under this counterattack. When Hit was once again pushed back, Broly spoke up. "Hit, although your time skip technique is powerful, as long as I know the trajectory of your next attack, I can counter your time skip technique." What? Hit's time skip technique has been broken? Upon hearing Broly's words, the one with the most significant reaction wasn't Hit, but Kampa, who felt as if struck by lightning. Hit was his last hope. Could it be that even he will lose? However, as Kampa despaired with his head in his hands, Vados smiled and said, "Kampa-sama, don't panic. It seems like Hit has no intention of giving up." Huh? Kampa immediately looked towards Hit and indeed found that to be the case. Although Broly claimed that the time skip had been deciphered, Hit appeared not the least bit panicked. If anything, he seemed somewhat excited. Staring at Broly, Hit asked, "What's your relationship with that Lynx?" "Brother Lynx is the king of Saiyans of Universe 7, and he is also someone I respect as well as my half-teacher," Broly replied. Oh, Hit nodded. "No wonder. I felt your transformation looked familiar. Now I remember. Back then, Lin Chen used a similar transformation in front of me. And when he faced my time skip technique, he also used the same method as you. He didn't tell you about this?" As soon as he finished speaking, Hit moved again. Employing the same tactic, he closed in on Broly and once again utilized the time skip technique. As expected, Broly's aura erupted out, attempting to block Hit's attack. Unexpectedly, as the time skip failed, Hit paused briefly, endured Broly's aura eruption, and then delivered another punch. This time, Hit struck Broly ruthlessly, sending him flying, almost flying out of the arena. Fortunately, Broly's power was immense, and with quick reflexes, he unleashed his aura to stabilize himself. It was a close call that even startled Lin Chen. However, it should end here. "Broly, don't waste any more time." Lin Chen suddenly stood up and shouted towards the arena. "Sorry, brother Lin Chen, I understand," Broly nodded. Hit looked at Broly in confusion. "What do you mean by your words just now?" Broly turned and said, "Hit, you indeed are very strong. Apart from the two God of Destruction Sama and Brother Lynx, you are the strongest opponent I've ever encountered. So at the beginning, I really wanted to defeat you with my own power." "Your own power?" "When you asked if Brother Lynx told me about you, of course he did. He even taught me how to break through your time skip technique. But I wanted to defeat you with my own power, so I didn't follow Brother Lynx's instruction. Now, Hit, are you ready to accept defeat? Defeat? I won't lose. Hearing Hit's response, Broly fell into a silent pause for a few seconds. Then, his body unexpectedly began to emit a terrifying aura. The aura was completely different from Broly's previous aura, radiating an eerie purple glow that shone on the arena like stars in the dark. Ah 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 ah. A roar echoed through the arena, and at this moment, Broly's body underwent a new transformation. A purplish-black aura enveloped Broly, a unique red pattern appeared on his chest, and his eyes emitted a red light. His radiant green hair gradually transformed from green to purple. Seeing this change, Beerus and Kampa were both astonished. The aura now surrounding Broly was unmistakably the God of Destruction's aura. Wasn't Broly God of Destruction's candidate? Why did he already possess God of Destruction's aura? Whis turned to Lin Chen and asked, Lin Chen, did you do this? Yes, this is the new transformation Broly has comprehended in these past few days. I call it the legendary Super Saiyan destruction form. I never thought you could help him achieve this level, Whis chuckled. Now, Broly is guaranteed to win. Whis was right. Legendary Super Saiyan destruction form was a new form created by Broly by incorporating the power of destruction he obtained into his transformation. In this form, Broly was akin to half a god of destruction, capable of using the power of destruction. Power of destruction was also a form of power of law. Using power of law to counter power of law was precisely the method Lin Chen devised for Broly to deal with Hit. After the transformation was complete, Broly, with his eyes emitting a frightening red glow, suddenly turned into a pitch-black afterimage and charged towards Hit. His speed was so fast that even Hit could only see a black streak. However, although he couldn't catch up with Broly's movements, Hit still had other counter-ability. Time skip. Time skipped 0.1 seconds, and everything around him came to a standstill. A powerful force erupted from Hit's fist, and he was about to use this opportunity to counterattack. However, he suddenly discovered that Broly, who should have been frozen, had started moving. As if a frozen person suddenly broke free. What? Hit was stunned for a moment, then he saw Broly, with a smile on his face, using his purplish-black aura-infused fist to strike him in the face. Boom! 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 Time resumed. The onlookers felt a momentary blur, and the situation took a sudden turn. Broly, who had just been suppressed by Hit, began relentlessly bombarding Hit with a flurry of punches. The storm-like assault culminated in a final explosion. Hit was sent flying in the explosion, and his trench coat turned into a pile of fragments. How is this possible? How did you move just now? Hit lay in the pit, his face filled with disbelief. In the past, his time skip technique had never failed during activation. But just now, even though time skip was clearly in effect, Broly was unexpectedly able to move. What the heck happened? Brother Lynx told me that your time skip technique is essentially a kind of power of law, manipulating the power of time. To counter it, one must use the same kind of power of law. Luckily, I have a power that can compete against it. Seeing the purplish-black aura on Broly, Hit immediately reacted, power of destruction. My power of destruction may not be on par with Beerus-sama, but it's enough to break free from your time constraints and launch an attack. Broly said, his eyes gleaming crimson. So that's how it is. Hit spat out some blood, slowly getting up. Broly's fists weren't easy to withstand. The few hits just now almost caused significant injuries to Hit. However, Hit wasn't planning to give up the match. Even though time skip was deciphered, he still had another trump card up his sleeve. At this moment, seeing Broly gaining the upper hand in the arena, Lin Chen also breathed a sigh of relief. As long as there was no interference from the time skip technique, it was impossible for Broly to lose. Having determined the outcome of the match, Lin Chen lost all interest in the tournament. He leaned back, preparing to take a rest. Letting Broly face 5 opponents alone, even he had been feeling somewhat anxious, but fortunately, Broly lived up to his name. He didn't disappoint Lin Chen's expectations. But at this moment, perhaps because his mood had relaxed, no longer focusing on the arena, Lin Chen suddenly sensed something unusual around him. This was spatial fluctuations. Someone nearby had used the power of space. Who could it be? People from Universe 6 were here, and so were those from Universe 7. Suddenly, a small figure appeared in Lin Chen's mind. Could this fluctuation be from Zeno? Lin Chen remembered that in the original work, Zeno did appear during the match between Universe 6 and Universe 7. Although in the original work, he only appeared after the tournament ended. But from Zeno's words, it could be inferred that he probably appeared during the middle of the tournament. If that's the case, could this spatial fluctuation be from Zeno and his attendants? Thinking of this, Lin Chen couldn't help but use the power of space to probe his surroundings. He was quite curious about the strongest being known in the Dragon Ball world. After all, in the past, he had only seen Zeno in anime and manga, and he was not clear about his strength. Now that he had the opportunity to personally experience Zeno's strength, Lin Chen naturally didn't want to miss it. Mr. Hit, the fight is over. In the arena, Broly looked expressionlessly at Hit, declaring his victory. But Hit didn't think he would lose. Broly, although you can break the time skip, that's not the only technique I possess. Suddenly, Hit roared and shook off the remnants of his trenchcoat. Then, Hit pointed both hands at Broly, gradually channeling energy. Broly, this is a new technique I created after my fight with Lynx. I originally planned to use it when I faced him again, but I'll let you face it now. Tides of time. The next moment, everyone felt like Hit suddenly blurred before their eyes. Before they could figure out what was happening, Hit began a new attack. He swiftly advanced towards Broly, throwing punches. Of course, Broly also swung his fists to counter. However, to everyone's surprise, this time Broly's fist directly passed through Hit's body. What's going on? Everyone exclaimed in surprise, but Broly remained calm. He continued to take Hit's punches with his body, and then, the power of destruction gathered and formed an energy sphere in front of him. The power of destruction shattered the space in front of Broly, creating an effect similar to a black hole. However, for Hit, this move seemed to pose no threat. But just after the destruction of the black hole, Broly's next attack did indeed strike Hit, once again delivering a heavy blow that almost left him unable to stand. This how is it possible? My tides of time. Hit's face showed a dumbstruck expression. Broly looked at him and explained, your tides of time should be a technique that stores time, using it to create space, right? The real you in the real world is just a projection hiding within the tides of time. Am I wrong? Hit's eyes widened, a shocked look on his face. Because Broly's words completely exposed the truth behind his tides of time. How could this be? Why would you know? It's all thanks to Brother Link's telling me. I know all your trump cards. The power of space triggered by the power of time is not stable. Just a little interference from my power of destruction and I was easily able to break it. Upon hearing Broly's words, a look of despair finally appeared on Hit's face. I forfeit. Just as Broly prepared to launch another attack, Hit suddenly lowered his hands and walked to the edge of the arena before loudly declaring. Although his voice wasn't loud, it fell precisely into the ears of everyone at the scene. Everyone at the tournament venue, without exception, was stunned by Hit's words. Especially Kampa, after hearing Hit's statement, instantly fell into despair. After despair came intense anger and frustration. He stood up from his seat and said in a threatening tone, Hit, do you know what you just said? Do you know the consequences of forfeiting? I'm well aware, but unfortunately, Kampa-sama, even if I continue to fight Broly, I can't win. With that, Hit walked down from the arena. All his trump cards were ineffective against Broly, there was no point in continuing such a battle. Although it was regrettable, Hit calmly faced his first defeat. But at the same time, he made this decision: the next time they meet, he will definitely wipe away the shame of this defeat. I declare Universe 7 as the winner of this match. The referee's voice rang out, prompting cheers from the Universe 7's audience. Beerus' happiness had a touch of pride because of Broly's 1 against 5 feat. Think you can still be arrogant, Kampa? Weren't you still humiliated by us? The only ones in Universe 7 who weren't too happy were Goku and Vegeta. With Broly taking on 5 opponents alone, there was almost no chance for them to step in. After all this time, they ended up being mere spectators. Vegeta, I'm bored. Humph, me too. Ding. Congratulations host for completing the mission. Do you want to release the reward now? Upon hearing the voice in his ear, Lin Chen, without much thought, said, wait for now. Increasing the S-cells of Universe SXS Saiyans, who knows if it will lead to any special phenomena. And at this critical moment, Lin Chen didn't have the energy to deal with this matter. Because, just now, the moment Broly achieved victory, Lin Chen suddenly sensed something unusual in the space at the venue. To have such a reaction, Lin Chen speculated that it was probably Zeno who, upon seeing the outcome of the match, became momentarily excited. Without hesitation, Lin Chen immediately pushed his power of space to the limit, intending to break the disguise of that space and see if Zeno was indeed there. Crack! As Lin Chen exerted power, the space shattered like a broken mirror, revealing countless fine cracks. Following that, a heavy and terrifying aura instantly leaked out. In just an instant, this aura rushed straight towards Lin Chen. Boom! Universe 7 participants' stands instantly exploded. The sudden explosion drew everyone's attention. Amidst the smoke from the explosion, Goku and the others flew out in confusion. Although the previous explosion was frightening, it didn't harm them. However, this explosion did not leave everyone unscathed. Lin Chen let out a muffled groan, his face turning pale as if he had suffered a severe blow before he was sent flying. What's going on? Is Lin Chen injured? Who did this? Most people on the scene found it strange because even though an explosion had occurred, most people did not sense anything unusual, let alone find the person who attacked Lin Chen. However, for individuals at the scene noticed that something was amiss. Kampa, Beerus, Whis and Vados, their expressions suddenly changed. Because they sensed a familiar aura on Lin Chen. As if thinking the same thing, the 4 followed this aura's path and discovered a spatial anomaly at the scene. Their peculiar behavior quickly caught the attention of others. Many people couldn't help but follow their gaze, their faces filled with surprise and curiosity. For a moment, the atmosphere at the tournament venue became somewhat strange. Lin Chen, are you okay? Why is your face so pale? Hanasia and others, who had flown over upon seeing Lin Chen getting injured, asked in concern. Behind them, Frieza accompanied them with a smile on his face, handing over a bottle of water. Lin Chen-sama, would you like some water? Without saying a word, Lin Chen took the water bottle and poured some into his mouth, rinsing away the blood. Afterward, his gaze firmly locked onto the place where the space had shattered just now. Almost simultaneously, the terrifying aura leaking from the shattered space once again swept towards Lin Chen. Sensing the other's hostility, a glint flashed in Lin Chen's eyes. Immediately, he entered Super Saiyan Silver Gray form and released his own aura to counterattack without showing any weakness. Even though it was risky to attack an opponent whose identity was unknown and who might be Zeno, Lin Chen was clear in his mind that the person who had just attacked him definitely could not be Zeno. At most, it was Zenith's bodyguard. Because although that person was powerful and had a terrifying aura, it was still far from the point where Lin Chen couldn't handle it. Clearly, it could not be Zeno. Since it wasn't Zeno, Lin Chen had no reason to be overly afraid. Moreover, Lin Chen had another plan in mind. Since he had already offended the other party, if it turned out to be Zeno and his group, he might be in danger if he didn't reveal his strength. This was something Lin Chen had deduced from the original work. In the original work, when Goku first met Zeno, he wasn't very respectful either, but he gained Xena's forgiveness and even became friends with him. Why did this happen? Naturally, it was because Goku had demonstrated outstanding strength in a previous tournament, satisfying Zeno. In other words, showing his strength now might be the way to survive. Doing nothing would only be waiting for doom. Kamehameha. As soon as the transformation was complete, Lin Chen unleashed his signature move. A Saiyan blast wave with a deafening roar surged towards the hidden location of the opponent. What's going on? Seeing Lin Chen suddenly attacking, everyone was startled. However, they quickly understood what was happening. Because halfway through its flight, Lin Chen's Kamehameha suddenly disappeared in front of them. This disappearance wasn't due to someone neutralizing the Kamehameha, it was a distortion in the space along the Kamehameha's path. There were outsiders hidden at the tournament venue. Who could it be? How could someone sneak in under the noses of two gods of destruction? At that moment, Lin Chen's Kamehameha was suddenly redirected by someone and it flew back towards Lin Chen instead. Seeing this, Lin Chen's eyes flashed, and he swung his right arm, sending his own Kamehameha soaring into the sky. As the energy of the Kamehameha exploded in the sky, it created a dazzling and brilliant light like fireworks. From the previously shattered space, a person dressed in purple divine attire, looking as thin as a bamboo pole, suddenly rushed out. Without hesitation, Lin Chen met him head-on, and the two engaged in a fierce battle in midair. The sound of their clash was almost deafening. As Beerus and Kampa looked closely at the silhouette resembling a thin bamboo pole, their eyes widened and their mouths opened wide in astonishment, wearing expressions of disbelief. Whis. Via Vados. Is that his bodyguard? Although they usually didn't get along, it was undeniable that they were true brothers. In a moment of urgency, they spoke in unison. After watching for a while, Whis and Vados simultaneously nodded, saying, "Beerus-sama, Kampa-sama, he is indeed his bodyguard." Ha! On one side, Beerus and Kampa were plunged into great shock. On the other side, everyone else was completely drawn towards the intense battle. The incredibly fierce and terrifying collision echoed throughout the entire arena, and the battle between Lin Chen and the mysterious figure covered the entire tournament venue. The intensity of their fight far surpassed the battle between Broly and Hit just now. Even the aftermath of their power after their intense clashes left the entire planet trembling as if it were in a violent storm. What a terrifying aura! Who is the opponent? How can they fight Lin Chen for so long? Lin Chen even defeated Beerus. Could that person be stronger than a god of destruction? Hit, watching Lin Chen in the midst of the intense battle, slightly narrowed his gaze. He didn't expect that, after more than a decade, the target he had once chased had become so powerful. Sure enough, I must redouble my efforts in training. The battle between Lin Chen and the mysterious figure continued, and for a short time, it seemed like the outcome couldn't be determined. Kampa, witnessing this, was extremely shocked. How is this possible? Someone can actually fight Xeno-sama's bodyguard to such an extent? Oh my, Kampa-sama, look at Universe 7. You should put in some more effort, too. Otherwise, how can Universe 6 hold its head high in front of Universe 7 in the future? I got it. Vados, you don't have to keep reminding me. In contrast to Kampa, Beerus and Whis were more confused at the appearance of Xena's bodyguard. Xena's bodyguard was a warrior who provided 24-hour personal protection to Zeno. If he has appeared here, could it be? Whis Xeno-sama, he hasn't come too, has he? Beerus said nervously. That Lin Chen actually started a fight with Xeno-sama's bodyguard. It's over, completely over. Beerus was worried about Lin Chen's actions causing trouble. While Lin Chen was also caught in a dilemma. Xena's bodyguard, one could say, truly lived up to being Xena's bodyguard. Without any divine position, he had a power level seemingly more formidable than even a god of destruction. Moreover, he has reached Divine Realm's second level, nearly on par with an angel. In Lin Chen's perception, there was even a fluctuation similar to Ultra Instinct emanating from the opponent, as if they had mastered the power of Ultra Instinct. However, perhaps due to underestimating Lin Chen, the opponent did not use their full strength immediately, creating a situation where the battle seemed to be at a standstill. Yet, Lin Chen could sense that as time passed, the opponent seemed to be growing impatient. The esteemed bodyguard of Zeno was unable to defeat a mere mortal. As a result, the opponent's strength rapidly rose, gradually revealing his full strength. Slowly but surely, Lin Chen, relying only on the power of Super Saiyan Silver Gray, was struggling to hold on. Kaioken. After a flash of red light, Lin Chen's power increased even more, as he mobilized all his strength and launched a fiercer counterattack. In an instant, the already intense battle escalated once again. Amidst the overwhelming aftermath of power, the scene became chaotic. The arena, now devoid of anyone, began to crumble under the shockwaves of power. The stands of the two universes were also impacted. Fortunately, Whis and Vados promptly erected a barrier, protecting the stands. On the other side, the shockwaves also affected the space that had been distorted by external force. Crackling sounds, like the shattering of glass, echoed as the disguise applied to the space finally could not hold up and disintegrated, revealing two figures hidden within the space. These two figures, one short and the other tall and thin, bore an uncanny resemblance to Zenith's bodyguard currently battling Lin Chen. The first to notice these two individuals was East Supreme Kai Shin of Universe 7. Upon seeing them, East Supreme Kai immediately asked, "Ancestor, look over there, two people just emerged. Are they with that person?" Old Kai turned his head to take a look, and immediately stumbled, his expression changing dramatically. At that moment, East Supreme Kai said again, "Why is there a child too? He seems to be feeling somewhat uncomfortable." "You idiot! How dare you speak like that about Zeno-sama? Are you looking to die?" Old Kai roared loudly, smacking Shin's forehead. "Zeno!" Upon hearing Old Kai's words, Beerus and the others also turned their heads. Immediately, the two God of Destruction's eyes nearly popped out, and their jaws almost hit the ground. "Zei Zeno-sama!" Beerus swiftly moved and appeared before Zeno like the wind, bowing before him. "Welcome, Zeno-sama." Meanwhile, Kampa stood there with his mouth wide open, looking completely bewildered. "Kampa-sama! Kampa-sama!" Vados shouted from the side, "Kampa-sama, are you just going to stand there?" Cold sweat dripped down Kampa's forehead. He instantly disappeared from his spot, appearing next to Beerus like lightning, and then bowed in the same manner. "Welcome, Zeno-sama." "Huh? What are they doing?" It wasn't until this moment that the others noticed the unusual behavior of the two God of Destruction and the appearance of two strangers who had appeared out of nowhere. Seeing that Beerus and Kampa looked as if facing a strong enemy, Goku couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Whis, who are the people over there?" "That's Zeno-sama. He's a big shot standing at the peak of all 12 universes." "All the universes? Peak?" Goku and Vegeta were both astonished. Before they could inquire further, Whis, Vados, along with the Supreme Kai and attendants of 2 universes, had already rushed to Zena's side, bowing respectfully to him. Seeing the big shots of 2 universes acting this way, the others became flustered and quickly followed suit, bowing. While everyone paid their respects, Zena's gaze remained fixed on Lin Chen. His battle with Zena's bodyguard was still going on. Noticing Zena's attention, Beerus immediately turned around and said, "Lin Chen. Come over here. Stop fighting. That's Zeno-sama's bodyguard." "No." Suddenly, a voice resembling that of an innocent child sounded, "Don't stop fighting. And you, how dare you interrupt their battle, do you want me to erase you?" "I am truly sorry." Zena's words frightened Beerus, cold sweat breaking out on his forehead as he knelt in mid-air before Zeno. "Don't disturb them. If you have something to say, wait until they finish their fight," Zeno declared. Yes. Thus, a bizarre scene appeared. All the gods of Universe 6 and 7 waited by Zeno's side, while Zeno seriously watched the battle between Lin Chen and his bodyguard. On the side, Goku and the others were still unsure of what was happening, eventually redirecting their attention back to Lin Chen. By this time, the battle had already reached the climax. A white light that many were somewhat familiar with appeared around Zeno's bodyguard. Boom! 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 Facing Lin Chen's fierce attacks, Zeno's bodyguard, whose appearance had undergone some changes, easily dodged them all. Ultra Instinct. It's really Ultra Instinct. Seeing the changes in the opponent, Lin Chen's eyes widened. Zeno's bodyguard had also mastered Ultra Instinct. Although not in its perfect form, it had already reached the level of Ultra Instinct sign. But Ultra Instinct was Ultra Instinct. In an instant, all of Lin Chen's attacks missed, and instead Zeno's bodyguard continuously landed hits on him. Deadly punches exploded on him continuously, and blood gushed out of Lin Chen's mouth uncontrollably. What was initially an evenly matched battle had suddenly turned into Lin Chen falling into a disadvantage. Oh no! Lin Chen seems to be in trouble. Dad! Brother, let's go help. Lin Luo and Taro were about to go and support the struggling Lin Chen, but suddenly, they heard Lin Chen's voice in their minds. Don't come over. Dad? From afar, while engaged in a fierce battle, Lin Chen continued to communicate through telepathy, just watch from the sidelines and don't act rashly. The current battle was being watched by Zeno. If Lin Luo and Taro interfered, it could potentially anger Zeno. Lin Chen couldn't afford to take that risk. But Dad, can you win? Lin Luo expressed concern. Don't worry. Although Lin Chen responded confidently, as time rapidly passed, his situation became increasingly precarious. After a few strikes from Zeno's bodyguard who was using Ultra Instinct, Lin Chen's body was covered in wounds and seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Even Zeno couldn't help but remark, "Huh. Is it over just like this? Boring." Upon hearing Zeno say boring with a face full of innocence, Beerus' heart began to beat wildly. He was well aware of his temper. Now, hearing Zeno say boring, Beerus suddenly panicked. He suddenly took a step back, then jumped up, shouting angrily at Lin Chen in the distance, "Lin Chen! What are you still doing? Use your full strength. Don't you know perfect Ultra Instinct?" Huh? When Zeno's bodyguard who was currently suppressing Lin Chen's attacks heard the words perfect Ultra Instinct, his eyes widened immediately. Perfect Ultra Instinct? This human actually know it? On the other side, Zeno also suddenly became interested. Oh. Perfect Ultra Instinct. Does he know it? Yes, Zeno-sama. Beerus immediately said, he used perfect Ultra Instinct in a battle with me before. I experienced it firsthand. Oh. Interesting. I really want to see it. Zeno clapped his hands. Beerus immediately bowed, saying, Don't worry, Zeno-sama, I'll have Lin Chen use it for you. Immediately, Beerus shouted at Lin Chen again, Lin Chen. Did you hear that? Quickly, show Zeno-sama all your skills. I wish I could. Lin Chen smiled helplessly in his heart. If he really knew perfect Ultra Instinct, he would have used it long ago. But the damn thing is, he doesn't know it at all. The perfect Ultra Instinct last time was the result of the system-provided items effect. At this moment, Zena's bodyguard on the opposite side took advantage of Lin Chen's distraction and delivered another heavy blow. Lin Chen gritted his teeth and forced himself to endure it. He wanted to take this opportunity to counterattack, but it was once again perfectly dodged by the opponent. Even if it's just a half-step Ultra Instinct, it was enough for Xena's bodyguard to see through all of Lin Chen's attacks. Seeing Lin Chen still being suppressed, Beerus was even more anxious than him. Restlessly, he asked Whis, "Hey, Whis, what's going on with Lin Chen? Why isn't he using Ultra Instinct? Does he think he can win against Xeno-sama's bodyguard without using Ultra Instinct?" "No, Beerus-sama, it's not that Lin Chen doesn't want to use it, it's just that he can't," Whis explained. "What?" Beerus couldn't help but exclaim. Hey, what's going on?" Zeno turned around and looked at him. Beerus quickly put on a smile and said, It's nothing." As soon as Zeno turned away, Beerus immediately pulled Whis over and whispered in his ear, "Hey, Whis, what do you mean Lin Chen can't? Didn't he know perfect Ultra Instinct?" "Beerus-sama, you misunderstood. The situation is like this." After Beerus heard Whis' explanation, he was dumbfounded. So, Lin Chen actually couldn't use Ultra Instinct? But he just freaking told Xeno-sama that Lin Chen knows it. If Xeno-sama finds out about this, then he... No, not just him, the entire Universe 7 would be done for. "Whis, what do we do? Is there any way to make Lin Chen learn Ultra Instinct immediately?" "Beerus-sama, no need to panic. Although he doesn't have Ultra Instinct, Lin Chen might not necessarily lose." Whis smiled. Beerus was dumbfounded again. He doesn't know Ultra Instinct, but he will still not lose. How is that possible? Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Lin Chen had realized he had no other choice. The strength of Xena's bodyguard has surpassed even that of Beerus. Although he couldn't use the power of laws, his half-step Ultra Instinct compensates for the disadvantage in laws. Therefore, the only way to defeat the opponent was to use that technique. Even though Lin Chen hadn't completely mastered that technique at this point, it was the only method he could think of to deal with Ultra Instinct. Lin Chen's eyes narrowed, deciding to take a gamble. In the next moment, the aura around Lin Chen suddenly began to erupt outward. This eruption was somewhat unusual, causing everyone to furrow their brows. Usually, when people erupt their aura, it's to awaken the hidden power. But the current eruption from Lin Chen, according to everyone's perception, seemed to be expelling his own power from his body. Under Lin Chen's eruption, the godly ki inside him dispersed outward, enveloping his entire body. Then, as the godly ki spread out, the aura around Lin Chen suddenly changed. A trace of black hurriedly spread out, eventually covering his entire body. And in Lin Chen's hair, the original gray part surprisingly changed, gradually turning into a red hue. Silver-gray hair finally transformed into a deep red. What is that? It seems like Lin Chen's form is changing. A new transformation. But I don't sense any change in his aura. And the current him seems even weaker than before, doesn't he? At this moment, anyone who could sense godly ki had already noticed that the godly ki in Lin Chen's body was continuously weakening. Whatever his current appearance may be, one thing is certain: it was constantly draining Lin Chen's divine power. Even if Lin Chen had comprehended various power of laws and had a robust divine power compared to ordinary people, this kind of consumption would be difficult to endure for too long. So, what exactly did Lin Chen want to do? Xena's bodyguard was also puzzled by Lin Chen's actions. He watched for a while and saw that Lin Chen's hair had changed color, and there was some black aura around his body, but other than that, there was nothing unusual. So, the bodyguard moved again, preparing to attack. At the same time, Lin Chen, who was continuously draining divine power, also moved. Before Xena's bodyguard could act, he rushed towards the opponent and threw a powerful punch. Xena's bodyguard, already in Ultra Instinct sign state, immediately reacted, preparing to dodge it. But at this moment, Lin Chen's heavy punch actually hit the bodyguard squarely. Ah! Getting hit, Xena's bodyguard's eyes widened and he almost cried out. When he controlled himself with great difficulty, Lin Chen's second strike arrived. Under Ultra Instinct, Xena's bodyguard once again tried to dodge. But for some reason, Lin Chen's powerful punch hit him again. This time, Zenith's bodyguard couldn't resist it anymore. Like being lifted by a fierce beast into the sky, the bodyguard flew up and finally crashed heavily to the ground, convulsing. What's going on? What just happened? The sudden turn of events left Beerus and the others wide-eyed. Just now, did Lin Chen actually hit Zenith's bodyguard who had entered the Ultra Instinct state? How is that possible? Under Ultra Instinct, unless one also possesses Ultra Instinct, it's impossible to harm the other. How did Lin Chen manage to do this? Could it be that he has also entered Ultra Instinct state? Beerus and the others turned their heads to look at Lin Chen, then rubbed their eyes. When they saw the expression full of anger on Lin Chen's face, they immediately understood. No, they could tell when someone was in the Ultra Instinct state, and Lin Chen's current appearance was definitely not Ultra Instinct. Since it's not Ultra Instinct, how did Lin Chen hit Zenith's bodyguard? Insolent fool. It was unclear whether it was the result of being angered by Lin Chen, but the previously silent Zenith's bodyguard suddenly spoke up. He climbed up from the ground with a look of embarrassment on his face, glaring fiercely at Lin Chen. Then, the aura on the bodyguard's body suddenly began to rise rapidly. His originally slender and tall body suddenly seemed to inflate as if filling with air, almost as if he were about to transform. Lin Chen's gaze instantly froze. So, Zenith's bodyguard was also a life form capable of transformation. Looks like another intense battle is about to unfold. Just as Lin Chen was thinking this, Zeno, who looks like a child, suddenly spoke. That's enough. I've seen everything I need to. Zeno-sama. The bodyguard was stunned. Please let me teach this rude person a lesson. I said step back. Do you want to be erased? Zenith's tone suddenly turned cold. The bodyguard, as if witnessing the most terrifying thing in the universe, immediately lowered his head in fear, and his previously inflated body returned to its normal size. Goku and the others were all surprised. They never expected that the powerful bodyguard would stop with just a few words from Zeno. The bodyguard's strength was already superior to Beerus, so how powerful was Zeno? Having dismissed the bodyguard, Zeno flew up and shouted at Lin Chen, who hadn't approached yet, Hey, you've won. You can come over. Oh no. Is Zeno-sama going to deal with Lin Chen? Seeing Lin Chen summoned by Zeno, old Kai shivered and subconsciously spoke. Ancestor, is Lin Chen going to be killed by Zeno-sama? Shouldn't we say a few good words for him? East Supreme Kai also spoke in a hushed tone. Fool. Can we be involved with what Zeno-sama wants to do? If you want to die, don't drag me into it. Fortunately for them, old Kai and the others were relieved when, even after Lin Chen dispersed the dark energy around him and returned to normal, Zeno did not make a move. Approaching Zeno, Lin Chen saw a friendly expression on Zenith's face, and knew that he had made the right bet. Indeed, only those who piqued Zenith's interest could receive preferential treatment from him. In simple terms, Zenith's personality is like that of a child and cannot be judged by common sense. Zeno-sama, I am Lin Chen, a Saiyan from Universe 7, Lin Chen said, his attitude neither haughty nor humble. Insolent fool. Since you know Zeno-sama, why haven't you paid your respects? Seeing Lin Chen standing boldly before Zeno without kneeling or bowing, the bodyguard from just now immediately reprimanded him loudly. However, Zeno immediately glared at the bodyguard, terrifying him into silence. The bodyguard dared not speak again. Beerus and Kampa, upon hearing Zenith's words, stood there as if petrified, finding it somewhat unbelievable. This Lin Chen was too incredible. He not only fought Zenith's bodyguard without getting erased by Zeno, but also received preferential treatment from Zeno himself. Could it be he is a relative of Zeno? Zeno then turned his gaze back to Lin Chen and said, Lin Chen, you were amazing. You managed to discover our hiding place and even severely injured my bodyguard. I've never seen anyone do all this before. You're truly super amazing. Thank you for the praise. Lin Chen nodded, simultaneously breathing a sigh of relief. The others also breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Chen had not provoked Zeno, which was truly fortunate. Then, old Kai, lying on the ground, asked, Zeno-sama, your sudden visit this time, is there something specific you have come for? Oh, right. I came today just to remind the two God of Destruction that you can't organize such a tournament during working hours. The work of the God of Destruction is the most important. Those who don't work properly will be erased. I'm terribly sorry. As Zeno said that, Beerus and Kampa were shocked, kneeling on the ground and apologizing profusely, cold sweat streaming down their foreheads. But I didn't expect the tournament you organized to be so interesting, especially that the one called Broly. Yes. Broly immediately flew over, bowing his head in acknowledgement. You were amazing too, taking on 5 opponents. Very well. Zeno waved his little hand, he was like a child who had found an interesting toy. However, he was also an existence standing at the peak of the 12 universes. Such a contradiction made people feel both strange and fearful. So, I was thinking, should we organize a martial arts tournament on a multiverse scale? Make it larger in scale, gather the experts from across the multiverse, and have them compete against you all. It would surely be very interesting. Oh, and Lin Chen, you didn't participate in the tournament just now, but you must participate in the next one. When Zeno revealed his plan, Beerus and the other gods stared wide-eyed. They had never imagined that someone as esteemed as Zeno would have this side to him, inviting a human to participate. It was unheard of. Could the Zeno before them be an imposter? This thought only surfaced briefly before being discarded by everyone. That was Zeno-sama, who would dare to impersonate him? Besides, even if you can impersonate Zeno, you couldn't impersonate the 2 bodyguards of Zeno. So, it had to be true. Wow. A martial arts tournament at the scale of multiverse? How many strong fighters will there be? Finally, I have a chance to participate, right? Goku suddenly emerged from behind Beerus, fearlessly approaching Zeno. Zeno's 2 bodyguards disappeared and once again stood in front of Zeno. Who are you? Zeno looked at Goku with a puzzled expression but didn't stop the bodyguards from protecting him. I'm Goku, and am pretty powerful. Goku spoke without any sense of restraint. In the original work, Goku's straightforwardness encountered Zeno and unexpectedly sparked a chemistry, leading them to become friends. However, in this world, the situation seems to be a bit different. Upon hearing Goku's words, Zeno did not express friendliness as in the original work, instead, he looked bewildered. Really? Of course. Goku smiled and extended his hand. At this moment, everyone was extremely fearful because Goku was actually reaching out to Zeno. Beerus was even more furious. Were all these Saiyans so oblivious? The 2 bodyguards were equally indignant. Lin Chen from earlier was one thing, but how could another person be so lacking in manners? Zena's bodyguard who had clashed with Lin Chen earlier immediately glared at Goku, and an invisible pressure fell down on Goku. Goku exclaimed and quickly retreated a considerable distance. Seems like you're not that amazing. Well, let's see how you perform in the next tournament. Zeno didn't reprimand his subordinate's actions, instead, he indifferently made this statement. Sigh. Seeing Zeno not shaking hands with Goku, Lin Chen couldn't help but feel a bit guilty. Because Goku's cold treatment was entirely caused by him. In the original work, Goku's ability to leave a deep impression on Zeno upon their first meeting and become friends was not just due to the protagonist's halo, but Lin Chen thought it was more because of Goku's performance in the tournament. Although Zeno is at the peak of the 12 universes, in essence, he's similar to a child. Only those who interest him can receive equal treatment. Now, due to Broly's 1 vs 5, Goku didn't have the opportunity to perform as he did in the original work and leave a deep impression on Zeno. Therefore, he naturally couldn't establish the same special friendship with Zeno as in the original work. Well then, he'll be going now. See you all in the next tournament. Beerus and Kampa, remember, fighting between gods of destruction is not allowed. Please rest assured, Zeno-sama, we will definitely not fight. Seeing that Zeno was about to leave, Beerus quickly spoke up to assure him. If Zeno didn't leave soon, his heart wouldn't be able to handle the stimulation. Well, goodbye then. Zeno nodded, reaching out to grab the hands of the two bodyguards. With a dazzling flash, Zeno and his two bodyguards disappeared from the spot. As Zeno left, the atmosphere at the scene relaxed. Beerus looked as if he had been drenched all over as he let out a long sigh, his limbs going limp. Kampa stuck out his tongue, plopping down on the ground. Looking at the two god of destruction with expressions of having survived a disaster, Goku couldn't help but feel curious. Was the guy just now really that strong? Although Zena's bodyguard had shown his strength just now, the most powerful Zeno, in Goku's eyes, was just a kid. He didn't understand why the two god of destruction were so afraid of him. Not only Goku but others were also equally puzzled. Lin Chen laughed and explained to them, that person is indeed very powerful. You see, in our world, there are a total of 12 universes, each with a god of destruction, Supreme Kai and an angel, and Zeno is in existence at the peak of these 12 universes, capable of destroying a universe with just a thought. What? Everyone couldn't help but exclaim. The seemingly frail child from just now could easily destroy a universe. Whis also added, Mr. Lin Chen is telling the truth. In front of Zeno-sama, even Beerus-sama would be easily eliminated with just a snap of Zeno-sama's fingers. Moreover, because Zeno-sama has an innocent and naive personality, he often does unexpected things. In simple terms, he is capricious, so no one knows what he will do the next moment. Once, a god of destruction was erased just for saying the wrong thing. Beerus added. Now, the others had no more doubts. If even Whis and Beerus said so, then Lin Chen's words must be true. The strange-looking little guy from earlier turned out to be such a powerful god. Many of them suddenly shivered and turned to look at Lin Chen. Previously, Lin Chen actually launched an attack on Zena's hiding place. Wouldn't that have almost caused the elimination of 2 universes? Others still didn't dare to say anything for now, but Kampa couldn't hold back. He rushed over, his face contorted with anger. Just now, all of us might have ended up dead because of your actions. Lin Chen shrugged, Kampa-sama, so, are you going to fight me? Kampa raised his fist but immediately put it down. What a joke. Even Zeno-sama's bodyguard couldn't defeat Lin Chen. How could he be his match? We're leaving. Vados, let's go back. Kampa turned around and walked away, unwilling to stay and embarrass himself any longer. Moreover, he had many things to do next. According to Zeno, there might be a multiverse battle in the future. After Universe SX's miserable loss this time, he needed to start preparing for it sooner. Alright, Kampa-sama. Vados agreed, raised her scepter, summoned their cube spaceship, and planned to send everyone back. Seeing this, people from the 2 universes also bid farewell to each other. Hit walked up to Broly and said, Broly, you won this time fair and square, but next time we meet, I will surely defeat you. Broly smiled faintly but didn't say anything. Lin Luo and Taro, on the other hand, caught hold of Caulifla and Kale, expressing a desire to visit them in Universe 6 at some point in the future. Caulifla didn't act as tough as she did at the beginning this time. She just waved her hand, saying, let's talk about it later, but I'll declare in advance that Kale and I only like men stronger than us. Lin Luo and Taro were momentarily stunned, then immediately smiled. Kampa-sama, do you think our Universe SXS experts will all be kidnapped to Universe 7 in the future? Vados looked at them and smiled. I won't let that happen. Oh. What if Lin Chen personally asks? Kampa was stunned for a moment, and his round face began to twitch. Hearing their conversation, Lin Chen also remembered the Stargate being developed on Planet Vegeta. He walked over, wanting to get permission to travel between the two universes. Kampa, whose sore spot had been touched by Vados just now, didn't dare to refuse Lin Chen. So, he had to nod vaguely, not explicitly stating whether he was approving or not, only letting Vados leave a communicator to Lin Chen for contact. Shortly after Universe SXS people left, Lin Chen and the others began summoning Super Shenron. As for the location of the last Dragon Ball, everyone had already discovered it during Lin Chen and Zenith's bodyguards' battle. The intense fight had shaved off a large part of the planet's surface where the arena was, revealing the hidden Dragon Ball underneath. So, not long after Kampa and others left, Whis took everyone to the sky and used divine power to reveal the true form of the Dragon Ball. Beerus-sama, please make a wish to the Super Dragon Balls. Whis pointed to the huge Dragon Balls neatly arranged in the sky. Beerus nodded, having already made a decision in his heart on how to use the wish. Next, Beerus used the divine language to summon Super Shenron, and the scene was as spectacular as when Lin Chen used the Super Dragon Balls years ago. Lin Chen, Hanasia, and others had already seen it, but for others, it was their first time, and they felt extremely awed. Super Shenron opened its huge mouth and swallowed everyone in one gulp. Then, inside the divine dragon's belly, everyone saw a miniature version of Super Shenron. After a long conversation in the divine language, the divine dragon disappeared. Beerus-sama, what wish did you make? Everyone was somewhat curious. It's a secret. Beerus crossed his arms, refusing to reveal the truth. In reality, among the crowd, besides Whis, Lin Chen could also understand the divine language. So, he naturally knew that Beerus' wish was to revive Earth in Universe 6. This Beerus may seem at odds with Kampa, but he actually cares a lot about his brother. Lin Chen smiled, not revealing Beerus' underlying thoughts. Lin Chen handed Kaba and the others over to his two sons, also creating an opportunity for the two of them. As for Lin Chen himself, he focused on stabilizing his realm. At this point, he had preliminarily mastered the technique known as Ultra Ego, as mentioned by Old Kai before. When Lin Chen faced Zenith's bodyguard, who was using Ultra Instinct Sign, the transformation he showed was, in fact, Ultra Ego State. However, this technique still had many flaws, requiring Lin Chen to spend a considerable amount of time on slowly refining and stabilizing it. However, at this moment, an unexpected visitor arrived, causing Lin Chen to interrupt his training. Humans of a world have disappeared? Lin Chen asked in surprise. In front of him stood a petite girl. Although she looked like a child, her true identity was the esteemed Supreme Kai of Time, Kranoa. Just now, Kranoa had suddenly arrived on Planet Vegeta and delivered astonishing news to Lin Chen. In the world she was overseeing, there were several parallel universes, in which all humans, or intelligent beings, have become completely extinct. Yes. Supreme Kai of Time Kranoa blinked her sparkling eyes. Lin Chen, the situation is really severe this time. In my investigation, 2 worlds have already appeared where humans are extinct. Because humans have gone extinct, the course of history of these worlds have been completely disrupted, turning the entire world into an empty world. How could something like this happen? Lin Chen frowned. Is it the work of those from the Dark Demon Realm again? I'm not entirely sure, but those people from the Dark Demon Realm are indeed quite suspicious. Kranoa explained. In this case, there were actually 2 clues pointing to the Dark Demon Realm. Firstly, because humans in these 2 worlds have been completely wiped out, rare spacetime expansions have occurred in these 2 worlds. Kranoa was not quite sure about the cause of this phenomenon, but she could confirm that if these expanding spacetime are left unchecked, they will continue to encroach on the multiverse's space, producing the same effect as the Dark Demon Realm disrupting history back then, affecting the seal of the Dark Demon Realm. Secondly, when Cronoa used the power of time to investigate what happened in these two worlds, she found that there was a force interfering with her observation. With these two clues, it indeed seems to be the handiwork of the Dark Demon realm. Lin Chen, will you accompany me to visit those two worlds? After careful consideration, Lin Chen agreed with a smile. After informing Bardock and the others, Lin Chen and Cronoa set out together for the parallel universe where the incident had occurred. This time, Lin Chen didn't need to consume time points. With Cronoa present, a space-time door appeared in front of them. Walking in one after the other, they quickly broke free from the multiverse's constraints and entered the corridor of time. As the stars shifted and the sun and moon reversed, at the end of the corridor, an exit appeared before them. Passing through the exit, they suddenly found themselves in a world of ruins. After a brief observation, Lin Chen easily determined that this was Earth. However, strangely, on this Earth, Lin Chen couldn't sense the aura of a single warrior. What happened here? Let's look around. The two flew into the sky and began to explore the planet. At the same time, Lin Chen inquired about the specific information of this space. Cronoa held a time scroll in her hand, filled with information on various parallel universes. After checking, she said, "This world is a small universe where even Supreme Kai doesn't exist. According to normal history, this universe should be ruled by the Frost Demon. Is that so? What about Earth? Because it is located in a remote area, Earth seems to be the secret headquarters of the multiverse rebel army who are rebelling against the Frost Demon's rule in this world." As they spoke, a city appeared in front of them. The two lowered their altitude and approached the city. "It's too tragic," Cronoa said in a low voice. "Yeah," Lin Chen nodded. The situation below was indeed quite awful. The city had become a ghost town, with countless human corpses visible everywhere. Cronoa closed her eyes, wanting to leave this place. However, Lin Chen stopped her. "Cronoa-sama, please wait." "What's wrong?" Lin Chen pointed towards a corpse and then waved his hand towards the ruins. Then, a small stray cat flew over. The stray cat was obviously frightened, with its limbs flailing in mid-air as it continuously made threatening sounds. "Lin Chen, what are you doing?" "Cronoa-sama, did you notice? All the humans in this city are dead, but we haven't seen a single animal corpse." "Animal corpses? What's the significance of that?" Cronoa was momentarily stunned, then flew up, releasing her senses to investigate the entire city. "Indeed. There are no dead animals in this city. Why is that? Let's go investigate other places." Subsequently, Lin Chen and Cronoa visited the next city and then another. As they expanded their search range, the truth became clearer. Regardless of who the perpetrator was that caused the extinction of all humans this time, for some unknown reason, this perpetrator did not harm any animals on the planet. Moreover, the method of attack seemed to specifically target humans while deliberately avoiding the animal companions around them. After inspecting several cities, they left Earth and went to other planets. They visited several planets under Frost Demon control, and the results were the same. On these planets where human life had been exterminated, non-sentient beings had become the new rulers, dominating the entire planet. As a result, Cronoa reached a conclusion. The perpetrator this time seemed to be deliberately eliminating humans from the entire universe. After going around this universe, the two then went to the other world where the incident had occurred. This world was also a small universe, and the situations on both sides were almost identical. In this universe, humans had also been completely wiped out, but non-sentient beings had suffered no harm. Damn it! Who on earth could it be? Who would do such a thing? Cronoa said angrily. Although it was a small universe, the humans in these two universes still numbered at least in the trillions. Who could be so crazy as to commit such a heinous act of destroying countless lives? Cronoa was at a loss, but in Lin Chen's mind, a name emerged. Zamasu, could it be him? Zamasu, in the original work, was the Supreme Kai apprentice of Universe 10. Originally tasked with protecting humanity, he became severely paranoid for some reason, stubbornly believing that humans were the cancer of the universe and needed to be eradicated. For this reason, he even chose to betray his own mentor, personally killed the Supreme Kai of Universe 10, and then used the Super Dragon Balls to take over Goku's body before carrying out the terrifying plan known as Project Zero Mortals. Upon careful thinking, isn't Zamasu's ultimate goal with Project Zero Mortals the current situation of these two worlds? However, what is the cause of the inexplicable expansion of these two worlds? There was no such setting in the original work, so Lin Chen couldn't confirm if this incident was related to Zamasu. Regardless of who did this, they should have already left these two worlds, Kranoa said with a hint of helplessness. Lin Chen, the perpetrator, is likely in another world now. I hope you can join me in monitoring the situation in all worlds in the coming time. Are you willing? Well. Lin Chen hesitated. Tournament of Power hosted by Zeno could start at any moment, so he wasn't sure if he should help with this matter. Especially the enemy being an unknown, he and Kranoa didn't know how much time it would take to locate the whereabouts of the perpetrator. Unable to make a decision, Lin Chen said, Kranoa, how about we go back to my universe first? I have a suspicion, maybe I know who the perpetrator is. Really? Kranoa exclaimed. Although I can't be certain, I feel that this incident is very likely related to him. Leaving those two despair-inducing worlds, Lin Chen and Kranoa returned to their world. As they exited the space-time tunnel, Lin Chen asked, Kranoa, do you know how to get to Universe 10's sacred world of the Kai in this world? Is the perpetrator over there? The sharp Kranoa immediately asked. Yes, I haven't been to Universe 10, so I don't know how to get there. Lin Chen's instant transmission required knowing the coordinates, and he had never been to Universe 10, so he didn't know how to get there. However, for Kranoa, who controls the entire timeline, this was not a problem. With a casual wave in the air, a portal to Universe 10 appeared. The two then went through the portal and entered the sacred world of the Kai in Universe 10. Universe 10, Sacred World of the Kai. Although both were Sacred World of the Kai, the scenery here was completely different from Universe 7. The landscape here mainly consisted of vast grasslands, with occasional towering ancient trees dotting the grassland. In the center of the sacred world, there was a giant character erected, and beneath it was a small path leading directly to the residence of Supreme Kai Gawasu of Universe 10. As Lin Chen and Kranoa walked through the path and arrived at this place, Supreme Kai Gawasu of Universe 10 was sitting in a beautifully landscaped garden, enjoying tea. Gawasu, like Old Kai and East Supreme Kai Shin in Universe 7, belonged to the core people. This race was naturally chosen as the Supreme Kai candidates, and members of this race predominantly served as Supreme Kais across different universes. However, the skin color of core people varied between universes. Core people of Universe 7 mainly have purple skin, while those in Universe 10 have primarily yellow and green skin. Next to the yellow-skinned Gawasu stood a person with green skin, holding a teapot in hand. This green-skinned individual was Lin Chen's target of this trip, Supreme Kai apprentice Zamasu. Zamasu, your heart is not calm enough. Only with a tranquil mind can you brew a delicate cup of black tea. Yes, teacher. Both Supreme Kai Gawasu and Zamasu were absorbed in their tea, seemingly oblivious to the arrival of Lin Chen and Kranoa. It wasn't until Kranoa coughed that they noticed the presence of guests. Gawasu quickly rose to his feet, bowing respectfully, is this Kranoa-sama? My apologies. I never expected Kranoa-sama to visit Universe 10. I'm really sorry for not welcoming you. Teacher, who are they? Zamasu was still just a Supreme Kai apprentice and wasn't aware of the existence of the Supreme Kai of Time. Gawasu introduced, Zamasu, this is Supreme Kai of Time, Kranoa-sama, overseeing the matters related to time of the multiverse. The other one is. He is my assistant, Lin Chen, Kranoa said. Lin Chen. For some reason, when Zamasu heard Lin Chen's name, he seemed surprised, his gaze fixed on Lin Chen. "What's wrong? Do you know me?" Lin Chen looked at him, smiling slightly. "No, I don't." Zamasu quickly lowered his head, but the fleeting expression in his eye was all caught by Lin Chen. Lin Chen reckoned that Zamasu might have seen the video of his previous battle with Zenith's bodyguard on GodTube, the Bilibili of the Dragon Ball world that gods use. That would explain the expression he had just shown. Indeed, if he didn't eliminate him soon, there would be endless troubles. Lin Chen remembered that in the original work, Zamasu developed the idea of taking over Goku's body after watching Goku's videos on GodTube. Now, this world Zamasu has also seen his video. Who could guarantee that he wouldn't entertain thoughts of taking over Lin Chen's body? Lin Chen was not confident in his ability to withstand Super Shenron's power of miracles. So, at this moment, Lin Chen made up his mind to kill both of you. He is my new disciple, Zamasu. He used to be the Kai of the mortal world and is now a Supreme Kai apprentice. Gaosu introduced Zamasu's identity and was about to invite them to sit down and enjoy tea together. But at this moment, the determined Lin Chen took action. Suddenly, his gaze sharpened and he transformed into legendary Super Saiyan 2. In a flash, he arrived in front of Zamasu. Die! A bright green light flashed, and this character, who could be considered the most attractive rebellious character in Dragon Ball Super, met his end at the hands of Lin Chen. Zamasu. It wasn't until a few seconds after his disciple's death that Gaosu reacted. He stood up from his seat in panic. Do you know what you've done? Isn't it just killing Zamasu? Lin Chen looked at Zamasu's headless corpse on the ground, repeatedly confirming with his aura that he was indeed dead. Only then did he relax, returning to his normal state. Why? Why would you do this? Gaosu asked angrily. Kranoa-sama, I demand a reasonable explanation from you. Kranoa was also surprised. Lin Chen, why did you do that? Zamasu was a Supreme Kai candidate. Why would Lin Chen just kill him for no reason? Even though Kranoa and Lin Chen were quite familiar with each other, at this moment, she couldn't help but feel a bit angry. However, at this time, Lin Chen pointed to Zamasu's lifeless body. Kranoa-sama, do you remember what I said about the perpetrator? I suspect it's him. What? But Zamasu's strength. Supreme Kai of Time-sama, what are you both talking about? What perpetrator? If you don't explain things clearly today, I won't let this matter go. Gaosu said furiously. Seeing this, Kranoa had no choice but to reveal details of the incident they were currently investigating. But Gaosu became more and more confused. Kranoa-sama, the destruction of humans in two different worlds is indeed shocking, but what evidence do you have to prove Zamasu did it? You've seen Zamasu's strength just now. Although he is the most talented core person I've ever seen, his strength is far from being able to destroy all humans in the entire world. Moreover, Zamasu has always been with me. When could he find time to do such things? Kranoa scratched her head. Gaosu's questions mirrored her own. Do we need evidence to kill him? I simply wanted him dead, Lin Chen said coldly. Gaosu's lips twitched. He never expected someone to say such a thing so boldly. Kranoa was also a bit angry. Although she valued Lin Chen a lot, this time he has indeed crossed the line. Lin Chen. Kranoa shouted unhappily. Fine. Lin Chen sighed. Although he didn't want to, he explained, Gaosu, let me ask you, does Zamasu harbor hostility towards humans? Has he ever said that humans are not worth living in this world? How do you know that? Gaosu was surprised because when Zamasu said such things to him, there was no third party present, so how did Lin Chen know Zamasu's thoughts? Is that true? Kranoa asked curiously. Zamasu's thoughts were somewhat extreme, but I've been teaching and correcting him. Supreme Kai of Time-sama, just because someone complains, does that mean you can kill them as you please? The fact is, Zamasu must be connected to the extinction of those humans from two worlds. Lin Chen. You're being too impulsive this time, Cronoa said with a frown. Based on this evidence alone, it's not enough to kill a Supreme Kai candidate. It's not just this evidence, Cronoa-sama. As far as I know, Gawasu-sama, you disclosed information about the time ring to Zamasu, didn't you? What? Cronoa turned to Gawasu, who immediately lowered his head in guilt. Showing the time ring to a Supreme Kai apprentice. Gawasu-sama, that's against the rules. I just wanted to give Zamasu some guidance by the way, how do you know all this? Cronoa looked at the two, not sure what was going on. Although from their conversation, she did find this person named Zamasu suspicious, relying solely on this evidence to judge him as the perpetrator seemed insufficient. After some thought, Cronoa said, Gawasu-sama, it seems I need to investigate the matter of Zamasu more carefully. Let's stop here for today. After I investigate thoroughly, I will provide you with an explanation. Fine. Gawasu nodded but still looked at Lin Chen with a fierce gaze. You're Lin Chen from Universe 7, right? You'll remember what happened today. If Cronoa-sama finds out that Zamasu is not the perpetrator, I will report today's events to Zeno-sama and let him make the decision. Sure. Lin Chen didn't care about Gawasu's threat. From the original Dragon Ball series, it's evident that Zamasu's hatred towards humanity transcends time and space. Even in parallel universes with significant differences, Zamasu still harbors deep hatred towards humans. So, he was certain that the Zamasu in his world must also be scheming something in the dark. Although he took action today and quashed the ambitions of Zamasu of his own universe, there must be other Zamasu in different worlds already preparing to cause chaos. The outcomes in those two worlds might be the result of the actions of Zamasu from who knows which world. When Lin Chen and Cronoa left the sacred world of the Kai and returned to the mortal world of Universe 10, Cronoa didn't immediately lead Lin Chen away. Instead, she said, Lin Chen, you were a bit reckless today. I know, but the facts will prove everything. Cronoa-sama, if you want to know the truth, investigate the other Zamasus in different worlds. I believe the perpetrator this time is definitely related to him. Why are you so persistent? Fine, I'll investigate. Zamasu is from Universe 10, and there aren't many worlds where Universe 10 exists among all parallel universes. It shouldn't take too much time. But, Lin Chen, in the meantime, you should go back to your own world. I'll find you once I uncover the truth. I understand. Lin Chen knew that his actions today had ultimately displeased Cronoa, so he accepted her arrangement calmly. The two parted ways, with Lin Chen returning to Universe 7, and Cronoa heading directly to the Time Nest. However, when Lin Chen returned to Universe 7, specifically to Planet Vegeta, he couldn't sense Goku and the others' auras. Lin Luo and others' aura was also missing. Initially, Lin Chen thought they might have gone somewhere to have fun. After all, with the passage to Universe 6 now open, they might have decided to visit Universe 6. But when Lin Chen returned to the royal palace and saw Bardock and others, the latter looked surprised and said, Your Majesty, why are you here? Me? I just got back. What? Your Majesty, don't you know something big has happened in the future world? Future world? Lin Chen's expression changed. It's the world that was once ruled by androids. Trunks from that world is back, and he brought some astonishing news. Everyone else has rushed to Earth. Upon hearing Bardock mention Trunks, Lin Chen instantly thought of the events of Black Goku and Zamasu from the original work. Perfect timing. Earlier, Lin Chen had been suspecting whether Zamasu was involved in the extinction of humans of two worlds. The appearance of Black Goku and Zamasu could now help him dispel his previous doubts. Another world. This world once faced a great calamity. Monsters known as androids once swept through this world, pushing all life to the brink of extinction. Until a Saiyan prince named Trunks led a resistance force, overthrowing the brutal rule of the androids and restoring peace to the world. However, peace only lingered in this world for a short few decades. Just as the intelligent races of the multiverse were recovering and rebuilding their civilizations, another disaster struck. On the planet called Planet Vegeta, Trunks cautiously navigated the devastated planet, evading detection as he advanced. Seeing that the cities around him which had begun to glow with new life were once again reduced to ruins, Trunks gritted his teeth. Damn it! Even the full-power Super Saiyan is not his match. Who is this Mr. Goku from another world? And why does he have such an evil rose-colored transformation? Trunks muttered to himself before quickly closing his mouth. Not far ahead of him, there was a hidden spaceship. If only Supreme Kai-sama was here. With instant transmission, I wouldn't have to risk using the spaceship, Trunks thought. When the spaceship starts, he might notice it. I can only take the risk. Trunks gritted his teeth and ran towards the spaceship. Just as he was about to get close, a figure emerged from the ruins near the ship, a light radiating on their palm. Wait! It's me. Trunks. Thank goodness, you're okay. The figure revealed itself to be a girl in a military green coat. However, there was not a hint of the aura of a living being on her. In fact, this Mai had been modified into an android. During Dr. Gero's brief reign over the entire universe, many were captured and transformed into members of the androids, and Mai was one of them. But after overthrowing Dr. Gero's brutal rule, Trunks used a special device to remove Dr. Gero's control program, restoring their freedom. Mai, quickly prepare to launch the ship. We don't have much time. Trunks pulled Mai towards the spaceship. Trunks, what about the device Aunt Bulma needs? Right here. Trunks tapped his pocket. It's already in the Hoi Poi capsule. Perfect. The two immediately reached the spaceship, lifted the cover concealing it, revealing the droplet-shaped small spacecraft beneath. In no time, the ship was ready for liftoff. However, at that moment, a thunderous sound reverberated from afar. Rose-colored shockwaves descended from the sky, sweeping through the city ruins. Followed by a deep and cruel voice. Trunks, I know you're in this area. Come out quickly. Trunks, it's him. What do we do? Mai said nervously. Don't worry about it, let's go all out and rush out directly. Trunks declared. So, the two of them gritted their teeth and ignited the engine. As the spaceship began to ascend, the person in the distance immediately noticed their presence. Found them. The figure quickly flew towards Trunks and Mai. Damn it! We've been spotted. Trunks gritted his teeth, standing up from the pilot's seat. He handed a Hoi Poi capsule to Mai, saying, Mai, it'll go delay him. You must bring back what Mom needs. No. Trunks, you're no match for him. We have no choice. Trunks was about to open the cockpit when a flash erupted outside. Turning around, he saw several figures suddenly flying up from the ruins of the city, launching a desperate counterattack against the attacker. Are these survivors from the city? Trunks. Let's hurry. Seizing the opportunity, Mai immediately increased the power of the engine, and the spaceship shot into outer space like an arrow. Trunks stood by the porthole, watching as those light dots lasted only a few seconds before disappearing. Thank you all. I will find a way to deal with that demon. I swear. Trunks closed his eyes in pain, silently thanking those who had helped him. After the spaceship had flown out of the atmosphere, Trunks suppressed his aura and sat down on the ground. Meanwhile, on the ground, the pursuer from earlier, with a look of disgust, completely tore apart the people of the resistance force who had interfered moments ago. Watching the parts falling from their bodies, he spat in disdain. Damn androids. I showed mercy since you're just machines, but it seems I was wrong. In the end, you're still modified humans and also need to be eliminated. Having said that, he flew high into the sky, reaching beyond the atmosphere. Although there may be collateral damage, it's a necessary sacrifice for justice. Destroy it. This sinful planet. Kamehameha. In the next moment, a rose-colored energy blast descended from the sky. First, it pierced through the Earth's surface, then passed through the mantle before the immense energy blast continued straight to the Earth's core. Finally, with a thunderous sound, Saiyan's planet, Planet Vegeta, was completely destroyed. Together with the remaining survivors on the planet and the androids, they all disappeared from the world. Trunks and Mai, already in superluminal jump, were unaware of what happened on Planet Vegeta. The two of them silently piloted the spaceship, heading towards the last stronghold of all intelligent beings. Big Geet Star. This planet was once used by Dr. Gero to rule the world. After Dr. Gero's death, until it was breached by the resistance force led by Trunks and Supreme Kai, this planet remained the fighting stronghold of androids ruling the world. Although in the battle that time, the Big Geet Star as a whole had fallen completely silent, all its abilities were disrupted and destroyed during the fight. However, when disaster struck again, this artificial planet became humanity's last hope. Because when that demon suddenly appeared, wreaking havoc on planet after planet, the technological devices on Big Geet Star became humanity's last hope. On this planet, Bulma, who had already been transformed into an android, was preparing the last hope to save humanity. When Trunks and Mai's spaceship silently entered the dock of Big Geet Star, a woman's voice rang out. Trunks. Bulma's weary voice appeared from the dock. Mom. We're back. Trunks and Mai jumped down from the ship, and he excitedly embraced his mother. Stay still. Suddenly, Bulma shouted, Trunks, my energy is running low. If you keep doing this, I might shut down. Mom. Trunks roared in grief and anger, turning around to rush out of the spaceship to seek revenge against Black Goku. However, at that moment, his body was pierced by a beam of light. Trunks turned around his head, looking in disbelief at Mai, who had attacked him. Mai, you. Trunks, you can't go. Aunt Bulma said you and the time machine are the only hope of our world. Anyone can die, but not you. Mai quickly pressed several buttons in the spaceship, opening the cover of the time machine before walking out of the spaceship. The sudden disappearance of air caused Trunks, who was already injured, to black out and faint in the pilot's seat. Farewell, Trunks, you must survive. Mai stared at Trunks for a few moments, then resolutely turned around and went to attack Black Goku. She was an android, so there won't be any issues even in space. Demon. I won't let you harm Trunks. Countless energy spheres were instantly thrown from Mai's hands. The bursting light dots illuminated Trunks' face as he woke up. Mai. Trunks gradually opened his eyes and then saw Mai attacking Black Goku in the distance. But then, he saw Black Goku frown. Annoying fellow, die. With a casual wave, Mai's body was split in half by Black Goku. At that moment, Trunks seemed to see a weird smile appear on Mai's face. The next moment, he understood the reason. Two flashes lit up from Mai's body. That was a flash caused by Mai detonating the explosive device inside her body. Mai. Trunks roared in anger. But he couldn't do anything. Although Trunks' true strength far surpassed Mai's, in normal state, Android Mai was more powerful. The attack just now, even though Mai deliberately avoided vital parts, still severely injured Trunks. He could only watch helplessly as Mai's body shattered in front of him, unable to do anything. No. I must survive. I must survive until I save this world, carrying the hopes of everyone. Trunks roared in his mind like a madman, then controlled the time machine, his destination being the parallel world he had once visited. At this moment, a dark figure emerged from the flash. Damn androids, you, who have been modified by humans, are truly the scourge in the universe. Trunks. Die together with these androids. Locking on to Trunks' direction, Black Goku laughed and flew towards him, the bright glow of a ki blast illuminating his hand. But at that moment, Trunks' time machine shook, suddenly disappearing from this world. Ha! Black Goku lunged but missed, muttering to himself with a surprised look, where did he go? What's with that spaceship? Even though he had destroyed so many worlds, it was the first time Black Goku had seen humans with such technology. The spaceship just now was so fast that even he couldn't catch it. Where on earth could he have gone? Earth, West City. Bulma's family was having a picnic. The theme was to welcome Caulifla and Kale, who have come to Earth for a visit. Bulma was busy arranging for the chef to barbecue, while she looked at Tights, who was just standing there with her arms crossed and giggling, without doing anything. Sis, why is your kid flirting with a girl in my house? Shut up. Lin Luo is your nephew, isn't he? What's wrong with lending a hand? Besides, this is also my home. Tights scolded. It turns out that she was just peeking at Lin Luo and Taro. At the moment, the two kids were enjoying Earth's barbecue with Caulifla and Kale. On the other side, Goku and Vegeta were eating while chatting with Kaba, who had also come to Earth. But at this moment, everyone looked around. Everyone sensed the sudden vibration of the air around them. Then, a small spacecraft, like a ghost, suddenly appeared from space. The spacecraft slowly descended into Bulma's yard. A time machine. Everyone exclaimed and ran towards where it landed. Trunks. My son, is it you who has come? Seeing Bulma running towards the spaceship with a big smile, Caulifla looked at the little Trunks next to her with confusion. What's wrong with your mom? Aren't you here? I don't know. Little Trunks scratched his head. But after the time machine's door opened, Trunks, covered in blood, fell from above, heavily hitting the lawn, startling everyone. Trunks, what happened? Although Bulma shouted loudly, Trunks did not respond. Vegeta, on the side, seeing this, immediately said, Kakarot, quickly bring over senzu beans. All right. Goku nodded and used instant transmission, while others brought various things, soft cushions, gauze, bandages, and more. With the assistance of several ladies, the unconscious Trunks was quickly bandaged. During this time, Lin Luo also told the confused little Trunks and others about Trunks' situation. Compared to the bewildered little Trunks, Caulifla and the others were astonished by the existence of a parallel universe in the world. Bulma, here is the senzu bean. Shortly after, Goku shouted and brought the senzu bean over. Great! Quickly give him one. Bulma anxiously took the senzu bean and fed it to Trunks. A moment later, Trunks' eyes moved. He slowly opened his eyes, and when he saw the familiar faces beside him, tears immediately welled up in Trunks' eyes. Mom! At this moment, Caulifla and the others were stunned. It really is Trunks. Who would have thought that the little guy next to them would grow up so big in the future? Trunks! Wake up! This is not your world. Bulma said with concern, finally making Trunks regain his senses. Mom, I'm sorry. He sniffed and was about to speak when he suddenly noticed Goku beside him. Seeing Trunks look over, Goku immediately smiled and said, Hey, Trunks, long time no see. But who would have known that after seeing Goku, Trunks' body suddenly tensed, and his entire aura instantly erupted out. You demon! I will avenge my... In just an instant, Trunks' extremely fierce attack struck Goku beside him. As soon as he started, Trunks turned into a Super Saiyan with super power, using his full strength without holding back. In an instant, Trunks' incredibly sharp attack struck Goku, who was beside him. Moreover, as soon as he struck, Trunks transformed into full-power Super Saiyan, unleashing his full strength without holding back. Mom! Trunks didn't dare to move upon hearing Bulma's words. Although Bulma was an android, unlike the former Android 17 and 18, she belonged to the same energy-absorbing type as Android 19 and 20, requiring constant energy replenishment. However, when it came to energy, wasn't there plenty on the big geet star? Mom, why don't you use the energy on the planet? Silly child, the time machine needs even more energy. I've already used all the energy of the big geet star on the time machine. Not even a little of it can be wasted anywhere else. Then absorb my energy. Trunks rolled up his sleeves but was pushed back by Bulma. Silly child, no need to say more. Mom is an android, even without energy, it'll just temporarily shut down and won't die. There's no need for this. At this moment, Mai, who had been listening on the side, couldn't resist asking, Trunks, what are you two talking about? What time machine? Trunks let go of his mother's hand and replied, I forgot to tell you, Mai. My mom and I plan to traverse time and space, heading to a parallel world. In that world, there's my master. It was with his help that I defeated Dr. Gero and saved this world. If it's my master, he'll surely have a way to kill that guy. Trunks said firmly. This was their world's last hope. Really? But how do we travel to a parallel world? The time machine. It was invented by Mom before she was modified into an android. As long as we use it, we can go to my master's world. It's just that the time machine Mom created earlier was taken by someone. Mom had to rebuild one herself, and the device we were looking for on Planet Vegeta was the final component she needed to complete the time machine, Trunks explained. Mai, with a shocked expression, said, so that's how it is. Alright, Trunks, I've prepared food for you. Hurry up and eat. The preparations for the time machine are almost complete. Once you install the navigation chip you found, we can start. Okay, Mom. Trunks nodded and was about to leave, but at that moment, a look of fear flashed in Bulma's eyes. A black figure emerged from the spaceship behind them. So the big geet star hasn't been abandoned yet. Didn't expect that. Almost overlooked it. A sinister voice suddenly sounded. Trunks, in that moment, unleashed his entire aura, transforming into Super Saiyan, then further transforming into the full-power Super Saiyan he had developed after returning to the future world. After witnessing Lin Chen's transformation into Super Saiyan God, Trunks comprehended the godly Kiin developed this form. Although it looked similar to Super Saiyan, in this form, Trunks' aura had an additional layer of blue godly Ki, similar to Goku and others in their Super Saiyan Blue form. In this form, Trunks could be considered half Super Saiyan Blue, touching the threshold of Divine Realm first level. As the transformation was completed, Trunks immediately swung his fist towards the figure behind him. However, his strike was easily blocked by a finger. An attack that was touching on Divine Realm, was unexpectedly stopped so easily, disbelief filling Trunks' eyes. How is this possible? Your strength has increased again. Haven't you seen it already? A familiar face revealed itself from behind the finger, the face unmistakably Goku, whom Trunks had seen in Lin Chen's world. However, Goku at this moment wore a black outfit and had Potara earring on his ear. Who are you really? Mr. Goku of this world died a long time ago. He couldn't possibly be as strong as you. Black Goku's face revealed a cruel smile, ha ha ha, who am I? I am a god. I am the god who has come to eradicate humanity and restore peace to the universe. Gallic Gun. Before Black Goku could finish speaking, Trunks unleashed his father's signature move. A blue energy wave engulfed Black Goku, also piercing through the dock behind him, causing air to spill out from the dock. Mai, quickly take Mom away. Trunks shouted and then pulled out a breathing device from out of thin air, putting it on his face with one hand. At this moment, Black Goku, who took Trunks' attack head-on, walked out from the blue energy wave. Although Trunks had expected that his attack would be ineffective, he hadn't anticipated Black Goku to be this powerful. There's no use struggling, obediently accept your fate. Never. Trunks charged forward suddenly, carrying Black Goku into space. In the vacuum of space, although no sound could be heard, the flashes from their battle illuminated space like fireworks. Pfft. Trunks suddenly spat out blood, and the breathing device fell off from his mouth. He, Trunks, prepare to accept your fate. Although they were in space, a special aura surrounded Black Goku, protecting him and allowing him to breathe and speak in space. Trunks stared at Black Goku, and suddenly remembered that he seemed to have sensed Black Goku's aura from Supreme Kai-Shin. Could he really be a god, as he claimed? But then, why did he look like Goku? Goodbye, Trunks. A rose-colored energy sphere appeared in Black Goku's hand. As long as you die, there will be no more resistance in this world. I'm going to eradicate all the humans of the multiverse. Ha ha ha. But at that moment, high-powered beams suddenly struck from a distance, accompanied by long-range missiles flying towards the location where the two were. Rumble. Soon, Black Goku was swallowed by these attacks. These are. Trunks turned his head, realizing the attacks came from the Big Geet star. At the same time, he saw a familiar-looking spaceship flying out of the Big Geet star. That spaceship was none other than the Time Machine. Mai was the one piloting the spaceship. Trunks turned his head to glance at Black Goku again, and seeing that he was still temporarily trapped amidst the relentless bombardment from the Big Geet star, without hesitation, he flew towards Mai. Mai, where's Mom? As soon as he entered the spaceship, Trunks hurriedly asked. Auntie is controlling the Big Geet star, she told us to start the time machine immediately. What? Trunks was just about to return to the Big Geet star to bring Bulma out when unexpectedly, a rose-colored energy sphere flew towards the Big Geet star with a loud rumble. Like a water droplet merging into a lake, the energy sphere smoothly and unhindered entered into the outer shell of the Big Geet star, and then... boom! A loud explosion rang out. The colossal artificial structure, known as the largest in the universe, disintegrated in a burst of fireworks. Bang! Seeing Trunks' sudden attack, Goku nonchalantly transformed into Super Saiyan 2 to block it. However, to his surprise, Trunks' strike had already surpassed the power of Super Saiyan 2. With just one punch, Trunks sent Goku flying. Trunks! Bulma and others on the side couldn't help but exclaim when they saw Trunks attack Goku. Trunks, however, didn't notice their astonished faces. His entire focus was on Goku. It wasn't until Goku transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, gently gripping Trunks' fist, that Trunks suddenly realized the person in front of him might not be the monster from his world. Are you Mr. Goku? Have you finally come to your senses, Trunks? Trunks finally came to his senses. Looking at the shocked and bewildered people around him, he hesitated before saying, "I did the time machine successfully start?" "Yes, Trunks. This is another world. Don't you remember fighting alongside us against Cell here?" Bulma shouted. Upon hearing her words, Trunks finally confirmed his mistake. Immediately, Trunks returned to his normal state, and his eyes turned red instantly. "I'm back, I really came back." Upon receiving the news, Lin Chen arrived on Earth from Planet Vegeta. Trunks was in the midst of recounting the events after the Cell battle to Goku and the others, explaining what happened when he returned to his own world. From the battle against the wizard Babidi, preventing Majin Buu's resurrection, to the unexpected death of Supreme Kai. Then the peace was restored to the world, and humans and androids began to coexist peacefully, building a new world together. Until the evil Black Goku appeared, killing half of the world's humans and plunging it back into endless darkness. Even Bulma and others died at the hands of Black Goku. This left everyone in shock. Meanwhile, just at that moment, Lin Chen returned. He wasn't alone. At the same time, Whis and Beerus also appeared, who had detected the fluctuations caused by Trunks' time travel. "Beerus-sama, why are you here too?" Lin Chen greeted them and then asked. "Lin Chen, we detected abnormal temporal fluctuations here. Whis says someone might be time traveling. What's going on?" "I came for the same reason. Let's go in together and take a look." After saying that, Lin Chen led them into Bulma's house, and then saw Trunks and others sitting together. Teacher Lin Chen. Seeing Lin Chen, Trunks became excited and quickly bowed in greeting. Trunks, tell us about the situation on your side. Lin Chen went straight to the point and asked. Although he had a rough idea of why Trunks had come, this Trunks world was not the same as the future world in the original world. There might be differences, and Lin Chen needed to understand them. Yes. Trunks then recounted what he had just said to Goku and others. Even though Goku and the others had heard it before, listening to Trunks narrate it again filled them with anger. Whis, I didn't expect someone from a future world to be here. Yes, Beerus-sama, it's quite unexpected. However, listening to what he said, the situation in that world is so bad. Why didn't I take action? Beerus-sama, didn't you hear him? Supreme Kai of that world died during the Majin Buu battle. That idiot. He actually died in a place like that. Utterly useless. Beerus couldn't help but express his displeasure. God of Destruction and Supreme Kai share their lives. If Supreme Kai dies, God of Destruction will also die. Therefore, Supreme Kai rarely directly participates in battles. Beerus couldn't believe that the Supreme Kai of that world died so easily. How foolish. Didn't he think to seek help from God of Destruction? At this moment, Trunks heard Beerus' words and immediately stopped talking. Teacher, who are these two? Trunks had never seen the God of Destruction and the Angel before. Previously, he had been curious about the identities of these two people. Now, upon hearing Beerus express disdain towards the already deceased Supreme Kai, Trunks became somewhat angry. Trunks. This is God of Destruction Beerus-sama, and his attendant angel, Mr. Whis. Beerus is the most powerful god in the universe, much stronger than your Supreme Kai. Vegeta whispered to his son from another world. Ah! Hearing that, Trunks was surprised. So, there are much more powerful gods in the world than Supreme Kai. I'm sorry, Beerus-sama. Trunks apologized and then asked, since you are more powerful than Supreme Kai, why didn't I see you intervene in my world? Isn't it because the Supreme Kai of your world died? If he hadn't died, I would have surely taken care of that Black Goku. Oh, right. Beerus suddenly remembered something and asked, speaking of which, who is this Black Goku? I don't know. Trunks shook his head. He appeared suddenly, but I distinctly remember that my world's Mr. Goku had died a long time ago. Moreover, even if Mr. Goku had been alive, he shouldn't have been that powerful. I might know who he is. At this moment, Lin Chen suddenly spoke. Trunks, hearing this, immediately asked, Teacher, do you know his true identity? Yes. Trunks, let me ask you, does that guy have an earring on his ear, similar to Supreme Kai? For instance, like these. As Lin Chen spoke, he held up a pair of Potara earrings. Also, does he have a special ring on his hand? Watching the earrings in Lin Chen's hand, Trunks thought for a moment and exclaimed, yes, indeed. Not only earring, but he also has a ring on his left hand. Upon hearing this answer, Lin Chen thought to himself, the truth is indeed as I had guessed. If that's the case, then I believe that the so-called Black Goku is actually an apprentice Supreme Kai named Zamasu. He stole the time ring from Supreme Kai Gaosu of Universe 10. Then, using the Super Dragon Balls, he stole Kakarot's body. But our world's Mr. Goku. That should be the body of another world's Kakarot. Lin Chen looked at Goku and explained, in fact, I was investigating an incident earlier. In 2 parallel universes, all intelligent life forms have been exterminated. However, the perpetrator's whereabouts remain unknown. If I'm not mistaken, then this perpetrator is probably the one who attacked your world Black Goku.